just about set to get things going again. One of the storylines in this game, can Alabama's offensive front be as dominant from the start without All-American left tackle Andre Smith? Injured his left knee during that contest against Clemson midway through the third quarter. But I think, as you see him there on the sidelines, one of the things that was most impressive, Tyler, Alabama never seemed to miss a beat once he left.
Now, Mike Johnson went over to the left tackle position, and they just filled in the gaps and continued on, dominating Clemson all night long.
He had started every game as a player at the University of Alabama, but the junior having to watch from the sideline here today. Ross Thibodeau is the kicker for the Green Wave. As deep for the Crimson Tide, we'll have Mike McCoy and Javier Arenas. Julio Jones had joined Arenas as the deep man in the first game of the year. Now on week 2, we are underway from Tuscaloosa. Glad you're with us on Crimson Tide pay-per-view as Arenas fields it about 5 yards deep, and he's got room across the 25, brought down finally at the 27-yard line. Good starting field position for Alabama. After about a 28-yard return, counting the yardage that he had in the end zone. But 26 officially, as John Parker Wilson, Tyler, had a sensational game in week 1.
He was sharp as attack. He put the ball where it needed to be. He managed the offense, and I think that's what these coaches were most impressed with, just his maturity in managing the offense.
Here you see the senior out of Hoover High School working with 3 wideouts. It's Marquise Mays that's in the slot. And he'll come in motion, check that. Nikita Stover in motion to the bottom of the picture. They'll go on the sweep to Coffee. And he lowers his shoulder and picks up good yardage, gets about 5, maybe 6 yards on the play. It was power football primarily from the Crimson Tide, and that's the reason why. From tackle to tackle, Johnson, David Ross, his first collegiate start, Antoine Caldwell, Marlon Davis, and Drew Davis on that right side. Baron Huber is your fullback, even though he did not start the ball game, or the Tide did not start with a fullback, as quite often that will be the case for Alabama this year. A lot of single set looks, but with the tight ends used as an H-back and kind of a battering ram, the fullback not always needed. From the gun on second down, and that one almost picked off, and it is an incomplete pass. Nick Walker thought he had his 8th catch of the year, but the line judge said that he was out of bounds. Philip Davis in coverage there, and he almost got the pick. As you see the defensive starters, the Tuscaloosa Toyota defensive line, starting defensive line for Tulane. Burks, Lee, and Holland, your linebackers. And there you see the secondary that will be tested here today. 3rd down and 5 for Alabama. 11 of 17 on 3rd down conversions a week ago for Alabama, as Wilson on the short drop throws, and it's deflected, and the Tide will go 3 and out. So after going 3 for 3, scoring on their first series a week ago, Bama goes 3 and out on its first series here against the Green Waves. The deflection came from Josh Lumar, the left corner, who came blitzing from that right side.
Yeah, Tulane brought a lot of pressure there on that 3rd down situation. John Parker Wilson knew who he wanted to go the ball with. The decision was good, just got batted down to the last scrimmage.
See Fitzgerald, good numbers a week ago. Wasn't called on much, but very effective. As you see Casey Rowbottom, the sophomore, waiting back on his 25 as we've got a flag that comes in. A bit of a sluggish start for Alabama. Let's see if this is against the Green Wave.
Prior to the snap, false starts, 25 off. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
It will be false start against Rolando McClain. The all-SEC linebacker being used in special teams. Fitzgerald 2 punts, averaging 36.5 yards per kick a week ago. And he gets a high spiraling kick here that Rowbottom will fair catch and bring in at the 31-yard line. So the Green Wave will have possession for the first time this evening, as their quarterback gets his first start. Kevin Moore, 6'5", 235-pound redshirt sophomore. Highland Village, Texas is his hometown. We'll give you his numbers and the rest of the starters when we come back to Tuscaloosa. 14 minutes to go here in the opening half from T-Town. Kevin Moore getting his first snap as a starting quarterback for the Tulane Green Wave. Flew for career best 125 yards on 6 of 10 at Rice a season ago. Final 3 appearances of the year, Tyler, he was 19th of 30 265 and a touchdown. So while it may be his first time to work under the lights as the starter, it's a guy who has some experience and shouldn't be too intimidated coming in here.
I don't believe he'll be intimidated at all. He ended the season good, and last year with Forte in the backfield for Tulane, all they were pretty much going to do is turn around and hand it off anyhow. So he's got some games under his belt. He's played in a bunch of games, experienced some success. He's had some wins. So look for him he has to come out, though, and have a good start.
Looking at the Tuscaloosa Toyota starters for Tulane on that offensive front. Troy Kropog is at left tackle. Rice, Parrington, Neerman, and Hendrickson rounding out the remainder of the starters. Blackwelder is at fullback. Andre Anderson also getting his first collegiate start. That's a young man who has a lot of pressure on him. A 6', 211-pound junior. He's number 32. As they send Williams in motion. Quick pass out to the near side and bumped out of bounds by Kareem Jackson. Was Cody Blackwelder, the fullback. We'll look at the starters again, brought to you by Tuscaloosa Toyota. Bobby Greenwood, Terrence Cody, and Brandon Dederick across the defensive front for the Crimson Tide. Corey Raymer, who had a big play on the first series defensively for Alabama a week ago at one linebacker. Dante Hightower, freshman, who got some great reviews from a week ago also. And there's the veteran secondary for Alabama as well. 2nd and 8 as Moore works under center. The long count and the give to Anderson. And he will spin and be faced with 3rd and about 3 as Rashad Johnson, the free safety, came up to greet him first. Here's a good look at Anderson. You see his numbers from a season ago. 6.5 yards per carry. Not a bad clip either. But so much different, Tyler, when you're called on to be the starter as opposed to a reserve.
Well, you're not just in a mop-up situation. You're not coming into the game when the game is out of control. So he's going to get a lot of carries here this evening.
Last year, the Green Wave 40% of the time converted on 3rd down. Bama went 3 and out. We'll see if the defense can force Tulane to do the same thing. Moore with time. Looks, completes the pass, and that's a 1st down. Found Anderson across the middle. And quite a bit of poise on the part of the young quarterback there, waiting on Anderson to come open up across the middle.
And really a good job of protection by the offensive line for Tulane. Had the coverage that he wanted with Rolando McClain for Alabama, able to pick up a good 6-7 yards.
Had Bama's best on him, and you see the reaction from Rolando McClain, frustrated that he wasn't able to get a deflection. As Anderson is a 2-year letter runner, playing in his 16th career game, but his first start. They'll go with a reverse early on as Jeremy Williams comes to the near side. It looked like Bama had him contained. But Rashad Johnson couldn't come up with a tackle. He did, however, slow him down long enough for Dante Hightower to get there.
Nice recovery that time for Alabama. Also, all the flow went to the top of the screen there. Alabama very aggressive defensively, has great speed, but they're able to recover immediately. Rashad Johnson doing a nice job of staying at home.
Gain of about 4 as they'll spot him just on the Alabama side of the 50. Glad you're with us here on Crimson Tide pay-per-view. 12 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Scoreless, Tulane marching on its first drive of the game. Short drop for Moore, and he's got a man. The catch is made inside the 45. As they'll spot him there at the 44-yard line. Brian King, the senior wideout, able to make the grab. It'll bring up 3rd and a yard.
3rd and 1.
So 3rd and 1 upcoming as King makes his 62nd career grab. See what Terrence Cody and company can do up the middle. They go on the option look with the Green Wave, trying to get to the corner and stretching for the pylon. Didn't get there, and a great read, Tyler, by Alabama defensively.
Brandon Fanny on that last play made an incredible effort. This play, the way it was drawn up, the way the numbers stacked out, Tulane should have walked in for an easy 1st down, but Brandon Fanny does an excellent job playing the pitch, and then watch him recover right there and able to get out and make the tackle.
Made sure he got him out of bounds before Anderson could stretch for the 1st down mark. They actually lost 1.5 yards on the play. So Darren DeRochemont will punt, and Javier Arenas will wait back on his 10. High wobbly kick, and Arenas will field it at the 13. Breaks 1 tackle, a 2nd, a 3rd. Shakes free into the open field. 1 man to beat. across midfield. It's a foot race, and Arenas will take it to the house. 90 yards. Javier Arenas gives Alabama a 6-0 lead. A lot of grabbing, a lot of reaching, but nobody could bring in number 28.
Not a bad punt at all. It had good hang time. You see the gunner there getting downfield, but Javier Arenas, anytime that he has tacklers on him, he always finds a way to elude at least the first two guys. Anytime he's in open field, watch him pick up key blocks there. It's a foot race. He's going to win.
88 yards officially as Javier Arenas. A lot to smile about early on. Javier Arenas returned to punt 61 yards for his score last year here at Bryant-Denny against LSU. He gets Bama on the board first against another Louisiana school, the Tulane Green Wave, here this afternoon. What a job he did.
That's an incredible job, incredible individual effort, although he picked up some very nice key blocks from his return team. But anytime that he's able to make the first two or three guys miss, that just puts him in space.
Talk about the confidence it gives the blockers on special teams, knowing you've got a guy behind you that if you give him just a little bit of a crease, can score virtually every time.
I'll tell you what else it does. It tells them they better get back downfield and not give up on the play, because he is liable to bust loose at any moment.
That's exactly what he did to give the Crimson Tide the early 7-0 lead. That is the 5th longest punt return in Alabama history. And Arenas behind Herschel Mosley, Harry Gilmer, Cotton Clark, and David Palmer. Some great names in Bama history, and Javier Arenas well on his way to putting his name in some similar company. Jeremy Williams, Travis Burks, the deep men, as Lee Tiffin kicks it deep, fielded at the 5. Across the 20, 25, 30. One man to beat there as Burks will try to outrun Chris Rogers, but he's able to make the stop. But there is a flag back all the way at the 40-yard line. And could Tulane, or actually Alabama, maybe have been offside?
This is going to be against Tulane. Michael Batiste, I believe, number 15 for Tulane. When it was kicked, he made a beeline for Javier Arenas, I believe is who it was.
Can't say that I blame him. They couldn't catch him on the punt return. They thought maybe they could hit him on kick coverage. But the discussion going on here, Matt Austin is our lead referee. And he will discuss things with the crew. 53 yards on the return. But it may all be for naught.
Offsides on the receiving team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Tyler,
several years ago,
you rarely see this.
You don't, but several years ago, you see him right there at the top of your screen on the right. He just mistimed it. You saw South Carolina and Lou Holtz used to do this several years ago. They would go and hit the kicker. Tulane chooses to hit the gunner, whoever's running downfield and is going to get down there first. He just mistimed it.
Well, they didn't mistime the second chance on Tiffin. They may not have gotten him initially, but they sure popped him there. However, it will simply be a re-kick, assuming somebody reminds Lee Tiffin he's not in Red Bay anymore right now. 10:31 to go here in the first quarter of play, and Alabama with a 7-0 lead. Tiffin a great week last Saturday against Clemson. I thought that long field goal to start the game really helped set the tone.
Had to have helped him mentally also, but you're absolutely right with the standpoint of the entire Alabama sideline as well as the fans were really into the game, because all of a sudden we didn't have to believe what all the experts have been telling us all week long.
Nick Saban in his second year as the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, national championship to his credit at LSU in 2003. And it says, let's try it again. Burks will field it inside the 10. And nowhere near as much success there as he looked a little winded as he got near the 20-yard line.
Not much effort that time on the return.
So Alabama with good coverage, able to Stop Burks this time. Tyrone King, the first man to get there. So you saw Martin Barron, who delivered a big hit on special teams against Clemson as well. Now Tulane will take over. They moved the ball pretty well in their first series before being forced to punt. Let's see if they can pick up successfully again with Anderson alone setback. Moore, the quarterback, working under center. He will give it to Anderson, and he changes direction, but he is met and stood up after a gain of a yard and a half. Great job defensively. Rolando McClain, the first man to greet him.
McClain in the middle of your screen here does a really nice job of eluding the blockers, not picking up contact, and that's where a good linebacker kind of makes his case right there. Never stops moving his feet.
Tyler once again give an assist to Terrence Cody. He busted things up in the middle and actually knocked the center into the running back, who in turn pinballed into Rolando McClain's arms at that point. 62 has been a terror out there. They'll swing it out to the right side, pass complete to the fullback, and Blackwelder will find the first down mark up across the 30 to the 32. Javier Arenas able to make the hit, but not until the Green Wave moved the chains.
Alabama really biting hard on the play action right this second. McClain comes up. That's his guy, the flat. He's got to knock that fullback Blackwelder, knock him off his route, prevent that type of pass.
So from the 32, the Green Wave with another first down. Dumping it off, pass complete. That's King, and he'll pick up 5 or 6 yards. Nothing fancy, not trying to bite off more than they can chew, but just taking a lot of underneath stuff early on.
Yeah, that man right there is smart. He's not putting his quarterback in a bad situation to this point. He's throwing on first down, but to this point, he also has not thrown it downfield. Just a lot of 3 to 5 yard passes trying to set up second and short situations.
So the Green Wave was 2nd and 5. As the clock ticks under 8:47 to go now here in the opening quarter. Play action, rolling the pocket, and he's got room. And will put his head down and didn't do it quickly enough. As you well know, if you're going to avoid contact, do it a little more quickly. Don't let Dante Hightower deliver that type of hit.
Moore once again on a nice play action. Looked like he was wanting to find number 41, Cody Sparks, for Tulane, dragging across the middle. But Hightower does a great job using the sideline as the second defender.
Had he tucked it initially and run with it, did he have the first?
I don't think he would have been able to outrun Hightower.
So 3rd down and 3 as the Tide fans come to their feet. Albert Williams in the backfield. He'll get the pitch, and he'll turn it up. Actually, it's not Williams or Albert Williams. It is Jeremy Williams, number 20, who was on the carry, but he's going to be knocked out of bounds by Rashad Johnson again at a 3rd and short. Alabama's defense able to stiffen.
Yeah, you're seeing the difference in speed right at this point. Also, Alabama just much faster than Tulane is. Blackwelder's out front. He sets a good. They should have been able to get to that corner, but Alabama just possesses too much speed.
Javier Arenas waiting on another punt from DeRochemont. He went 88 yards on the last return. A low kick this time. Dodging a couple of tacklers. Stayed on his feet initially, but is going to be brought down at the 27-yard line. Alabama will have it 1st and 10 from there, as Devin Holland made the stop, and now John Parker Wilson will bring the Bama offense out for the 2nd time. The Tide does lead 7-0, but it was the punt return that gave Alabama its offense. The Tide went 3 and out on its first offensive series, so trying to pick up the pace a bit. It'll be McCoy, the wide out to the top of your picture, and Julio Jones to the near side. Wilson directing traffic as Travis McCall shifts over to the right side, and they'll hand it off to Glenn Coffey, and he is going to be brought down. That's a nice job of wrapping up on the play by the Green Wave, and Evan Lee able to grab him. It's the middle linebacker, a senior at 6'1", 236, that made the stop. Coffey 90 yards rushing a week ago, and again, if there is a spot where Alabama has depth, it is certainly in the backfield.
Alabama's always had a stable of backs. That is definitely an advantage.
Marquise Mays checking into the game as they'll go across the middle to Nick Walker, and he'll break one tackle, a second, and there is the 8th catch of the year for Walker. He caught one earlier, but they ruled him out of bounds as he made the grab. 7 catches a week ago, 6 of them in the first half. Everybody says, why don't you throw the tight end more? That question's certainly not asked after the ball game.
And I like moving Nick Walker a little bit further out in space there. It allows him more room to work with. He has great quickness. He's able to run a lot of different routes, but just finds a soft part of that defense.
Tide getting its first down of the ball game as they'll spot it across the 41. McCall again shifting over. Wilson on the delayed give. That's Coffey, excuse me. That'll be Mark Ingram, the true freshman. 98 yards rushing last week for the Crimson Tide, and he picks up about 5 yards there before Corey Saunier, the strong safety, comes up to hit him. The Michigan native, interchangeable with Coffey as you see him exit there, and it will be the veteran who comes in to replace him. What a luxury to have that type of talent. Not only did Ingram have 17 carries for 96 yards officially a week ago, also a couple of catches out of the backfield. As Terry Grant checks in, and he'll shift to the top of your picture. He'll look his direction. He'll make the catch. He'll turn it upfield, and he'll get the first down. One of the reasons you didn't see Grant last week, Tyler, the game plan called for Alabama to play power football, run it right at Clemson. That's not Terry Grant's game, but what you saw right there truly is.
And this is a luxury that Alabama did not have last season. Terry Grant forced to run in between tackles. He's going to be more productive getting out there on the edge as well as coming out of the backfield in motion and catching 5-yard hitches.
Already 3 running backs have been involved in the offense for Alabama, and that's on this series alone. Baron Huber checks in at fullback for the Tide as McCall shifts once more. Play action. Wilson. Pocket breaks down, and he'll go down. Brought down on the play by Travis Burks. Sam linebacker able to get him as protection broke down on the right side of the line.
Yeah, spacing just really wasn't that good either in the secondary for Alabama on the pass routes. Charles Harris for Tulane does a nice job of bumping Julio Jones, not allowing him off the line of scrimmage, messed up the timing of the routes.
Give credit to the secondary there. You're exactly right. Darius Hanks, number 15, checks in for Alabama. He's in the slot to the near side. Ingram comes to the wide, to a wide out slot all the way to the bottom of your picture. Wilson on 2nd and long across the middle, trying to go to Hanks, and that one's broken up. Nice play by Josh Lumar, the left corner. He's a 5th-year senior at 5'2", 178. Played that one nicely. Jones, McCoy, Mays all check in. McCall, Walker, and Hanks will exit. And the Crimson Tide faced with a 3rd and 14. They'll need to get into Tulane territory at the 32 to pick up the first. Wilson directing traffic as the play clock is under 5. Will they just get it away in time? Pressure coming. Wilson avoids the rush initially. Now throws it downfield looking for Jones, and it's incomplete. That play got broken up, and Wilson tried to improvise, but with pressure coming from Logan Kelly, he had to unload this one.
James McMurtry looked like he's the one that came in for Tulane on the backside blitz. Forces John Parker Wilson out of the pocket. You can't be upset with this pass, though. This is just one of those, if it works, great. If not, we're going to punt. Nice adjustment by Julio Jones, just a little bit overthrown, but that's a pass that 9 out of 10 times is not going to be completed.
Actually, 92 Reggie Scott, the defensive end who is providing pressure. P.J. Fitzgerald on to punt for the 2nd time. He saw 41 yards on his first attempt. As this one will sail through the back of the end zone. So Fitzgerald with too much on that one. And so the Green Wave will have possession. 1st and 10 at their own 20. Neither offense able to muster much, but the Tide special teams gives Alabama a 7-0 lead.
Yeah, hey, let's do that, Chris.
7-0. Alabama with the lead over the Tulane Green Wave. An 88-yard punt return by Javier Arenas, the only real offense that Alabama's been able to muster, Tyler. And I'll ask you what I'm sure a lot of people are asking here in the stands. After such a impressive performance a week ago from the Bama offense early on, What have you seen differently so far?
Well, that's exactly right. Let's go back to last week. What did Alabama do first? They established the run. They were committed to running between the tackles, bouncing it out when needed, and then off of that, they were throwing the football. To this point, Alabama's had good success running the football. They're just trying to mix it up a lot more on first and second down throwing than they did last week. Maybe you'll watch them come back and be committed once again on first and second down just to running it right at Tulane. They got to slow down this pass rush that Tulane is putting on.
Nick Saban made it very clear that it was a good win for Alabama. He was happy for the Tide players, for the fans, but it was one game, and you have to move on and not assume that good things will continue to happen just because it happened on one Saturday. You see those numbers showing that is exactly the case as the toss sweep to the right side. And Albert Williams gets his first carry. I tried to give him one earlier, but it was actually Jeremy Williams who had gotten the football. But a gain of about 3 yards on the play. Albert Williams, a 5'11", 178-pound freshman, getting his first career carry. Picks up 3 on the play. Alabama in the first of 2 consecutive home games. It'll be Western Kentucky coming to town next week. We will have that one for you on Crimson Tide pay-per-view as well. The pitch to Williams and read nicely by the Tide. No yards on the play. Brandon Fanny is the one that initially slowed him down and stayed with the play.
He doesn't bite at all in the fake. Watch him play in his position. But you see right there, he doesn't go and try to make a spectacular play, a huge loss. He just waits for Williams to come to him. Then Cody comes in to help out.
Terrence Cody not glad to see somebody else slowing up the ball carrier so he could make a tackle for a change. Cody will check out as Josh Chapman comes in to replace him. They'll swing it out on third down, incomplete. Pass intended for Cody Blackwelder. Actually, instead, it was the reserve fullback, Jordan Stephanie, that he was trying to connect with, but great pressure again by Alabama.
Yeah, Javier Arenas is going to come into your screen right here. He doesn't touch the ball, but what he does is he alters Moore's projection to the fullback.
Javier Arenas set to return for the 3rd time, standing on his own 40-yard line. DeRochemont had it blocked. It's blocked, scooped up by Alabama, and the Tide will score. Chris Rogers scooping it and scoring, and the Crimson Tide has taken a 13-0 lead. I believe Upchurch blocked it, but Rogers scooped it and scored.
I don't believe that was a block, a call block. He just was able to get through there, and what a great angle.
It will not be Tiffin that's on to kick. And missing his first attempt was Corey Smith. We'll look at it again and watch. Coming into your picture, I believe it was. Still can't tell if it was Upchurch.
Looked like Roy Upchurch. Did look like Roy Upchurch. Was just able to elude that up blocker for Tulane, able to squeeze in there. He said, hey, y'all going to give me a gap, I'm going to take it.
It's either Demetrius Good or number 5 Roy Upchurch. But the extra point attempt was missed by Corey Smith. And Alabama has scored 2 touchdowns on special teams. They're getting it done with defense and in the special teams. It doesn't matter how, they're getting it done.
That's absolutely right. These special teams for Alabama have really played well.
We got confirmation it was indeed Roy Upchurch who came through. What about the contribution he has made in the way he's handled it, Tyler? He was one of the top 2 ball carriers a season ago. Now he basically falls to number 3 on the depth chart, but caught the ball well out of the backfield last week, ran it effectively when he got opportunities, and they're making a huge contribution in special teams.
You have to be able to contribute any way that you can, and through your hard work, you get more and more opportunities to make plays.
I had said in jest that Lee Tiffin on that kickoff earlier may have thought he was in Red Bay. I may have been closer to being accurate than I thought, as he did not handle the placement on the extra point, nor did he handle the kickoff. And once more, Corey Smith kicks, and this one goes out of bounds. So a rough start for the youngster in his first 2 collegiate kicks. Tiffin is on the sideline, sitting on the bench right now.
Free kick out of bounds. We're 44 of the kicking team. Ball to be spotted at the 40-yard line. First down.
Hopefully it's not serious, but he is on the sideline right now.
Corey Smith's got a good leg, though. Unfortunate on that last kickoff, it just landed about a yard outside. Just 1 more yard, 2 yards more to the inside, and it would have been a perfect kick.
Corey Smith out of Bunker Hill, West Virginia, played at Musselman High School. A rough start on his first couple of kicks, but getting the jitters out of the way, and hopefully he'll be successful the rest of the way. That pass swung out to the near side. Catch is made by Jeremy Williams, but not a lot of running room as the Tide again defends it very well. Coming into the year, the question mark was on the defensive side of the ball, specifically Tyler, among Alabama's front 7. The speed and quickness of the improved strength from a year ago, though, is clear through the first game and almost quarter of week number 2.
Yeah, and the sheer size of these defensive linemen, I think, Terrence Cody coming on has really helped add depth to the defensive line.
On 2nd and 9. The give to the deep man, Anderson. And again, not much running room there. Got a yard, maybe 2 at the most, before he is brought down. Orlando McClain hobbling a bit as he came out of the pile. It looks like he's going to stay in the game. Terrence Cody among the first to greet him. Chavis Williams checking in along with Marquise Johnson. As we'll see Dante Hightower and big number 62, Terrence Cody, checking out. 3rd and long. So the Tide's 0 for 2. Tulane 1 of 4 on conversion attempts. Pressure coming from the outside. Pass is caught. Great throw on the part of Moore, and an equally impressive catch on the part of Jeremy Williams.
Chavis Williams is going to line up to the right on your screen there, going up against Pete Hendrickson. Looked like he got held a little bit. He's a speed rusher for Alabama.
Williams really a linebacker, but gave Alabama a 4 down lineman look at that time as he came in from the corner. Reamer back in to replace him as they'll go with the shuffle pass. And it doesn't pick up much. They'll get to the 45 of Alabama. Actually got 3 yards, more than I thought, as Lorenzo Washington makes the stop. Couple of tackles a week ago for the junior out of Logansville, Georgia. And he also had a quarterback hurry in Bama's victory against Clemson. Just joining us, an 88-yard punt return for a score by Javier Arenas. A blocked punt by Roy Upchurch, scooped up by Chris Rogers, who carried it into the end zone. A missed extra point, and Bama leads it 13-0. Inside handoff, Anderson getting into open space inside the 40 and to the 39. He'll be close to the first down. Hightower and Johnson brought him down, but not before he got very close to that first down mark. And it's going to be close enough for a measurement from our lead official, Matt Austin. You can give Tulane credit. They have actually looked more consistent offensively than has Alabama so far. They just haven't had anything to show for it.
Yeah, they've had a good game plan coming into this ball game tonight. Doing a nice job of spreading Alabama out, trying to hit the creases as much as they can. A lot of quick hitters, though, not putting more in difficult situations on 3rd and long, giving themselves an opportunity to move the football.
Lee Tiffin heading to the exit. Barry Krause with a Cook's Pest Control sideline report. What's the word, Barry?
Hey, I was talking about some Van Tiffen with some of the trainers, and they basically said that he took a big hit. Obviously, you saw it out there on that one kickoff return. He's going to be out for the rest of this half. They're going to reevaluate him at halftime, and they'll give us an update after halftime.
Thank you, Barry. That's not what kickers sign up for, taking that type of hit, but got blindsided, and now 3rd and a foot. Quarterback keep. Trying to move the pile, and it will depend on the spot. I think they got it, though. It is indeed a first down for the Green Wave. So Tulane able to keep possession, and that's awfully big right now. For one reason, they don't have to kick. Things haven't gone very well for them when they've done that. Out of 3 punts, one of them's been blocked, another one's been returned for a score. Bob Toledo trying to figure out how his team has looked as well as they have defensively and moved it like they have on offense, but yet trail 13-0. Moore swinging it out once more. The fullback Blackwelder able to make the grab and picks up 7-8 yards on first down. What's making that play so wide open?
Well, Blackwelder has no opposition coming out of the backfield. Anytime you see a fullback going to the right or the left, someone has to make contact with him at the line of scrimmage. You normally see linebackers coming up and taking on that lead block. And it's exactly for that reason. You can't let a fullback out of the backfield untouched.
Eric Anders, the man giving chase, as the first quarter has come to a close. Alabama leads at 13-0, but it has been far from a dominating performance. There's one of your lone highlights for Alabama thus far. Senior quarterback John Parker Wilson trying to find a way to get the Bama offense moving. The Tide leads at 13-0, but it's been 2 special team scores that have allowed the Tide to take the 2-touchdown lead. For Tulane, Tyler, they've done the job on defense. They've actually moved it pretty well offensively, but a breakdown in punt protection and a breakdown in punt coverage have allowed the Crimson Tide to take a 2-touchdown lead.
Yeah, and all coaches will tell you the way that a football game can get turned around quicker than anything is with the special teams unit. Alabama has definitely taken advantage of their opportunities. Huge punt return for a touchdown, blocked punt for a touchdown. Alabama has taken advantage.
And also a great stat you saw there, that 51-yard kick return following Arenas' touchdown was negated by an offsides penalty by the receiving team on a kickoff, a rarity, but that kept the Green Wave from taking possession on the Alabama side of the field. And now the Green Wave with a 2nd and short from the Crimson Tide. 29-yard line. Deepest penetration that the Green Wave have had into Bama territory so far. Kevin Moore, 9 of 10 passing in the first quarter, make it 10 of 11 now as we begin the second, and that will be enough for the first down as once again he connects with Brian King. 6-yard pickup, plenty of yardage to move the sticks.
Kevin Moore knows exactly where he's wanting to go with the football. Marquise Johnson just drops back in coverage, creates a little space there. Tulane's able to pick up another first down.
Dante Hightower checking back in. Eric Anders checking into the game as well for Alabama as Jeremy Williams exits for Tulane. Casey Rowbottom, the lone wide out to the top of your picture, coming in motion. As Moore trying to set up the screen, has to unload it, and even though that's an incompletion, that's a great decision on the part of the quarterback.
Eric Anders does a great job for Alabama, sniffing out the screen pass, floating along the line of scrimmage. But as you mentioned, Kevin Moore making a heads-up play, not trying to force it.
That was something that you pointed out following the Clemson victory, that those are the type plays that don't show up to the ordinary fan that are great, smart moves on the part of the quarterback. An incompletion is not the worst thing that can happen. A loss of a couple is not all that good, though, for your offenses. Brandon Fanning, the Jack linebacker, is able to knife in and make the play.
He has been all over the football field this evening. Host of Alabama players able to sniff that one out. You saw for the first time Tulane not really able to make create any holes at the line of scrimmage.
Bama's run defense, absolutely sensational in stopping thunder and lightning from Clemson. 3rd and 12. Moore with pressure coming, unloads it, pass caught, but not a first down. What a hit delivered by Rashad Johnson, as Brian King was able to hang on to it, but he's going to be shy of the first down, and now we'll see Ross Teveno come on to try a field goal. This one will be in the area of 36 yards.
That's how important that 3rd down was, just to pick up the extra yardage to even give Tulane an opportunity for this field goal.
Teveno's numbers from a season ago. On 4th and 3, they will kick the field goal. It's up and it's good. And Green Wave have finally had something good happen for them in special teams. They get on the board. 13-3, though. Alabama still with a 10-point lead. But Bob Toledo's squad able to put points on the board in Tuscaloosa. Somewhat subdued Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. Glad you're with us here on Crimson Tide Pay-Per-View. I'm Chris Stewart, along with Tyler Watts, Barry Krause down on the sidelines, and Tulane able to get on the board. 12 plays, 42 yards, a little more than 5 minutes before that young man, Ross Teveno, was able to give Bob Toledo's squad their first points of the game. 16 points scored between the two. Everything coming in special teams so far. Alabama clearly, Tyler, needs to get something going on the offensive side.
Offensively, they have to be able to establish the run and consistently run the football to try to give this defense an opportunity to rest a little bit. The defense is playing great, but offensively, Alabama just wants to find some sort of continuity, pick up several first downs in a row, and try to get points of their own on the board.
Alabama virtually nothing on offense. 4 carries, 9 yards on the ground, 24 yards passing. Javier Arenas has been the bulk of their offense. An 87-yard punt return earlier. Now he is the deep man along with Mike McCoy for the Crimson Tide, as Teveno will kick it, and it will be Arenas to field it at the 1. At the 10, at the 15, room at the 20, outside 25-30. Still on his feet, 35. Bounce down near the 40-yard line, and you can just sense everybody, if they're not standing, at the very least, they're on the edge of their seats, Tyler, when that man has the ball.
He is awfully exciting to watch return it. Several key blocks, Julio Jones and company up front, doing a great job stalking. There you see it, just a body on a body. Give him a little wiggle room, and he'll make something happen.
Fitting with that type of route to wind up at the 40 that Oscar Ponce de Leon would be the one to bring him down. From the 39, John Parker Wilson will work from the shotgun. Roy Upchurch, who blocked a punt earlier in the backfield, will swing it out to Marquise Mays. He'll try to make people miss and gets to about the 43-yard line. And you saw some coaches signal. I think Kurt Signetti, the receivers coach, sort of make the signal, get upfield. He tried to dance a little bit too much after making the grab.
Yeah, a great job of stalk blocking by the Alabama receivers. So the only person that can make that tackle is the safety, who's about 12 yards deep, and then any overflow that's coming from the inside. So you got to catch it, get north and south as quick as possible.
That is Chinonso Eshabellum, the free safety, able to make the stop after a gain of about 3. 12:20 and ticking, time left, quarter number 2. Bama trying to establish something on offense. Not been able to do that thus far. Wilson with pressure, working his way outside. Nobody open, and that is a veteran move to fling that one outside. We got a flag down in the secondary, and perhaps one of the Tide receivers were held on that play, Tyler.
It'd be very unfortunate if it is against Tulane, because that was nowhere near. John Parker Wilson had no opportunity to throw in the ball back.
Reggie Scott was providing pressure, and that forced Wilson out of the pocket. Well, let's see who they're going to flag this one against.
Holding. Defense 24. That's a 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Eshabellum called for that infraction. Let's see if we can watch it again. Yep, Marquise Mays. That was at the bottom of your picture. Nope, McCoy actually is the guy that he corralled.
But John Parker Wilson is just now starting to flush out of the pocket, and that flag came in extremely late.
Evan Lee, the middle linebacker, was in coverage on Marquise Mays. But it was Eshabellum that got a handful of Mike McCoy's jersey. It is called for the hold. When Coffey in the game, getting the carry, and he is following a wave of Crimson blockers inside the 40. Nice pickup on first down of 8 yards. Evan Lee eventually got it his way, but look at the job the right side of the line does here.
Just an incredible job, as you mentioned. Drew Davis, Marlon Davis, just really blowing a hole open, and a host of other offensive linemen just pushing that pile forward.
Great to see Brian Motley, who was a nose guard on last year's team, move back to the offensive line. He was the pulling guard from the left side there that created the running room for Coffey. McCall shifting over as the H-back, and Coffey will follow him. And that's a good decision. First down yardage for Alabama inside the 35. Devin Holland brings him down. But not before another 8-yard pickup for Alabama. So a first down for the Crimson Tide. And this looks like the Alabama team of a week ago.
Well, and it's back to basic offense, too. Just running in between the tackles, allowing your big offensive line to take control.
So 4 carries and now 20-plus yards for Coffey as Mays goes in motion to the top of your picture. Toss sweep that direction. Coffey's going to be stood out. David Ross was trying to cut down the man on the corner. The cutback by Coffey. There were a lot of green helmets waiting on him. Julian Shives Sams, 6'3" senior defensive tackle, able to bring him down. Good look at the 6'3", 282-pounder. Only a yard on that play is Bob Toledo's defense. Comes up with a stop. Let's see what John Parker Wilson and the offense can do. Only 3 senior starters for Tulane defensively. As Wilson tries to elude the pressure, but they came on the corner blitz, and there was nobody there to block him. And that's something that was highly significant a week ago, Tyler. Wilson never got touched, but he has been harassed throughout this first half.
Yeah, Logan Kelly's going to come from a stand-up position, and the offensive line just did not recognize it, or there was just no one there to protect John Parker Wilson. But he's looking to the left the entire time. That's coming from his backside.
So after the 10-yard loss, 3rd down and 19, we'll call it. The line of scrimmage back to the Tulane 42. 3rd down has not been very kind to Alabama so far. Wilson stepping up in the pocket, unloads it, and that one's broken up. Intended for B.J. Scott, but Evan Lee, the middle linebacker, absolutely decked him. All 3 arrived at the same spot simultaneously, and it results in an incomplete pass.
Yeah, I think John Parker Wilson got away with one right here. B.J. Scott's a good thing that he was going this hard to the football, because as you mentioned, Evan Lee is right in position.
So now P.J. Fitzgerald will have to come on and punt. 3rd time you see his numbers so far on the afternoon. And if you're just joining us, Alabama leads at 13-3, but the Tide's 2 touchdowns have come on special teams plays. High spiraling kick, fair catch called for, and it will be made right at the 10-yard line by Casey Rowbottom. So that's where the Green Wave will start when we return to Tuscaloosa. Tulane's offense has been impressive, but they still trail by 10. Young ladies enjoying a Saturday evening in Tuscaloosa. Alabama fans happy to be leading, Tyler, but not overly thrilled with the way the offense has looked so far, and a lot of the credit has to go to Tulane.
Tulane's been able to put a lot of pressure on this Alabama offense, get them in situations where they know what's coming. They know Alabama's forced to throw the football, and they've got a good scheme. They're able to do a lot of crossing, a lot of stunning, bringing linebackers around the ends. Kind of wonder right now what kind of continuity this offensive line hadn't played a whole lot together, how that's if that is a factor.
Again, Andre Smith missing a start for the first time in his Alabama career because of a knee injury. He and Earl Alexander, wide out for Alabama, the 2 that are not in uniform for this game. Alexander with an ankle injury, and Smith, of course, with a sprained knee.
1st and 10, Tulane. At the 10.
And the Green Wave starting with their worst field position on a drive all evening. Kevin Moore, the quarterback, throws that one incomplete, trying to connect with his wideout Jeremy Williams, but it falls incomplete. This is a place where you've got to be very careful. Now, Moore has looked razor sharp in the first half, Tyler, but a mistake right here, and suddenly it's a 20-3 game.
I think that's what you saw right there, just not wanting to make that mistake. Luther Davis, normally we're going to see him at the defensive lineman, outside linebacker position, was in coverage. He's a big body, but Moore trying to just stick it on the outside. He knew any more inside, and that ball's intercepted.
11 of 13, 66 yards passing so far for Kevin Moore. They'll go on the delayed give, though, to Anderson there, and he will be brought down by Rolando McClain, among others. McClain, a freshman All-American a year ago, in first-team All-Southeastern Conference this season. There's number 25 out of Decatur. 6'4", 255, and again, the classification may be sophomore, but he has the maturity of an upperclassman, Tyler, and not afraid of a leadership role. Third and 7. As Moore works from the gun, looking across the middle, and it's dropped, and he heard footsteps there because Jeremy Williams was open and probably had a chance for the first down, but he heard Rashad Johnson coming.
This was going to be awfully close. The play is well designed. You see him come in here on the quick slant, but Johnson very quick in reacting. That would have been really close.
They had Bama on a blitz. It looked like Dante Hightower in the middle came in, and that did leave some room for Williams. However, couldn't hang on to it. Arenas salivating as he waits at midfield. Looking for a block. Got one. Got another. Heads for the corner. Heads for the end zone. But he'll be brought down at the 20-yard line. .32 yards on the return after a 38-yard punt. There's the Bama offense tonight.
Low line punt right here and plenty of room. Alabama doing a great job on Tulane's gunners, not allowing them to get down to Arenas. And when he gets in the mix, he's dangerous. This has got to get this Alabama offense excited.
To punch it in here, they have not put any points on the board. Talking about the Bama offense, and Mark Ingram will check in. He had a carry early in the first quarter, Bama's second series, but back in there now as Wilson will work from the gun. Julio Jones and Mike McCoy to the near side of your screen, and they'll put it in the belly of Ingram. He'll change direction, but he's going to be stood up and brought down. Got a yard at the most. And give, again, the Green Wave credit. A lot of people will say, what's wrong with Alabama? But they're blocking and tackling a whole lot better than the Alabama opponent did a week ago, even though they probably don't have the talent level that Clemson enjoys.
Yeah, and Tulane is also is just trying to create big piles at the line of scrimmage, not allowing this Alabama offensive line to really drive them off. They're playing low, they're playing good, and if they feel they're going to get beat, they're just diving to the ground and trying to cause a pile.
Alabama puts a fullback in. That means number 40, Baron Huber, checks into the game. Wilson on play action. With time, throws, passing complete. Trying to connect with Mike McCoy and had him, but some pressure coming late, and the throw was a bit high.
Ball was a little bit high, but this is all about timing. It's about just anticipation. John Parker Wilson, he throws this ball before Mike McCoy really comes out of his cut, so he has to anticipate where he's going and get it there. That's a very difficult throw.
Travis Burks, number 6, the strong side linebacker, delivered the hit just as Wilson unloaded that one. 0 for 3 on third down so far as Alabama. They've got third and long right here. Walker shifting as Wilson unloads it. Pass is caught. McCoy drops it. Had it in his hands, but he was leveled. Great job by Charles Harris, the right corner, who separated McCoy from the football.
Yeah, Charles Harris really does make an outstanding play, not because of the hit, because he comes off of coverage. He's supposed to go deep. He comes off of his coverage to make that tackle. See the frustration right there.
And again, Lee Tiffin took quite a hit on a kickoff earlier, and that resulted in Corey Smith checking in. He has missed a couple of kicks, but that one hits the upright, bounces off. 36-yard try, and that's a tough break. The young man missed an extra point. He kicked off out of bounds and hit that one well, but it hits the right upright, and Alabama misses a scoring opportunity after special teams had set them up nicely once again. Another great return by Javier Arenas set up Alabama in great field position. The Tide could only move it a yard. Tulane has had possession of the ball 13 minutes and 59 seconds. Well, the Tide has only had it for 9:02 thus far. Tyler, we knew coming in that Andre Smith would be out of the starting lineup. Mike Johnson gets the start at left tackle, but this line looking much different. You got Antoine Caldwell at center, Drew Davis at right tackle, but you had David Ross line up at right guard and Brian Motley at the left side guard for Alabama there, and things just not going well for Bama. Not all the offensive line, but that's certainly where things started successfully for Alabama a week ago.
It was, and it's amazing. Offensive linemen, they have to practice together. They have to learn how to work together. The calls, the angles, the bumps, the passing off protection. These are things that just experience. There's nothing that can equal experience. So when you start plugging guys in there, it makes it a little bit more challenging.
When you talk about the importance of timing, especially in the passing game, is the offensive line the toughest place to acquire that timing?
I would definitely think so. Absolutely.
Down on the field, Barry Krause checks in with us.
Hey, Chris.
Control sideline report.
Hey, Chris, I just wanted to update you on Marlon Davis, the starting left guard for Alabama. He banged up his one knee, so far the doctors basically wanted him out until halftime. They're going to reevaluate him and make a decision at halftime whether they want to get him out in the second half.
Thank you, Barry. Again, with a Cook's Pest Control sideline report there is Marlon Davis out, as is Andre Smith. Lee Tiffin banged up, so Alabama kind of walking wounded right now. Another pass incomplete, back-to-back throws that didn't find their mark. Kevin Morris, you're starting to see the Bama defensive front put a little more pressure on the first-time starter for the Green Wave.
You're also seeing linebackers start to stick their nose up in the defensive line and really try to apply pressure. Look, Brandon Fanny right there coming out on coverage. That's a very difficult coverage for an outside linebacker, especially on a faster fullback.
3rd and 10 for the Green Wave. Midway point of the second quarter. Plenty of time to throw, and that pass is incomplete. Tried to thread the needle that time to Jeremy Williams, but Bama not only put a little pressure on him, they had it well covered in the secondary.
Yeah, it really was well covered there. Safety staying deep and not allowing more to really forcing him rather to try to drill it in as opposed to just laying it up.
Alabama's best offensive weapon checks in so far tonight anyway. Javier Arenas had an 87-yard punt return for a score. He just returned 132 yards on the last punt from DeRochemont. A high kick that's going to be fielded at the 45. Breaks a tackle, a second, a third, a fourth. Drags tacklers inside the 40 to the 39. He's not just fast, he's tough as nails. And Javier Arenas once more puts Alabama on the Green Wave side of the 50.
Matt Harding for Tulane doing a nice job of getting down the field, but Javier Arenas, as you mentioned, was just able to bust right through the would-be tackler.
What makes him so dangerous, Tyler? Is it the fact he does combine strength with that speed?
Oh, I just wish I'd have had it. I think a lot of players out here wish they had it.
1st and 10 for the Green Wave. 40. Roy Upchurch in at tailback for Alabama. Play action. Looking deep for Julio Jones. In coverage, can't bring it in. And Tyler, he had position, but it looked like Wilson may have thrown it to the wrong shoulders.
Also, the ball's thrown pretty early. You got to have an adjustment out of your wide receiver as well. Ball could have been led more to the inside. There's no question about that. That is a difficult pass, but you have to have a little bit of an adjustment.
Got a hand on it, but
it's a missed opportunity. Yeah, it's a missed opportunity either way. They had the coverage that they wanted.
Grant and Upchurch in the game now for Alabama. As Grant comes to the bottom of your picture. Wilson dumping it off. Here's Upchurch with blockers, but is tripped up as he gets inside the 35 to the 33. It'll set up third and short. Charles Harris, the cornerback, able to cut him down there. 7-yard pickup for Alabama as the Tide, which is 0 for 4 on third down tries, will look to move the sticks here.
A lot easier to call plays, though, on 3rd and 4 as opposed to 3rd and 10.
See those numbers. A week ago, John Parker Wilson, 22 of 30. You see 4 of 12 so far. Upchurch, the lone setback, to the air, pass to McCall, and he got the first down, I believe, based on his forward progress. He got brought back outside the 30-yard line, but where the catch was made appears to have given Bama a first down. They'll call for a measurement here.
I'll tell you what, Travis McCall and Nick Walker for Alabama have just been huge assets this season, playing that tight end position, more than just catching the ball, although we've seen more tight end play than we have in previous years. But what a great job they do blocking.
It's barely one way or the other. And that way is in favor of Alabama. Good thing that was a thick pig they used to make the football. That's the only way the Tide was able to move the chains there. First third down conversion of the night. Last week, you see Bama converting almost 65% of the time on third down opportunities. Not as sharp, yet they lead by 10. And they're inside the 30 of the Green Wave here, midway through quarter number 2. Play action, heavy pressure, and Wilson goes down again. They came with a corner blitz again. Josh Lumar able to get to him, and Wilson is sacked for the 3rd time tonight.
This is one of those gimmick plays right here where you're not really anticipating pressure coming from Tulane. You don't know if Drew Davis is supposed to bounce out and pick up that outside force coming, or Baron Huber's supposed to slide all the way over.
Successful rushing sets up the play action a lot better. Is that one of the reasons it's not very effective right now?
I think you're also seeing some miscommunication on the offensive line and in the backfield on who's got who.
2nd and 19. Blitz coming. Wilson avoids the rush initially and then makes a smart move and just throwing it away.
The smartest thing he could have done right there. You have to throw it at your tailback's feet. If you throw it downfield, you have illegal men downfield. You're in the pocket.
Tyler, that's a play a season ago. He may have tried to force things, and it could have resulted in disaster.
Either forced it with the throw, trying to get it to his tailback anyway, or tried to pull it down and run and just not been able to make anything happen and take an unnecessary hit.
3rd down and 19. They've got to get all the way to the 20 or just across it, as the line of scrimmage is now at the 39. That's McCoy coming back to the bottom of your picture. Pressure coming. Wilson can't avoid it. And I'm not sure they're putting a body on anybody wearing green right now.
They're not bringing more than Alabama can block. There's just miscommunication up front, especially in the Alabama front interior line. All Tulane's doing is really just twisting linemen and linebackers, but they're not bringing more. They only rush 4 people.
So virtually nothing for Alabama offensively, as the Green Wave have now gotten 4 sacks of the night. Fitzgerald having a punt again. High kick that will travel into the end zone. And once more a touchback off the foot of Fitzgerald. He's frustrated. Nothing seeming to go right for Alabama, with the exception of a punt return covering 87 yards for a score by Javier Arenas. That came in the first quarter. Also in the first quarter, Roy Upchurch blocking a punt. It was scooped up and taken in for a touchdown by Chris Rogers. That's all the offense Bama's been able to muster, and in fact they've only made 1 out of 2 extra point tries. So now the defense which has even had its struggles so far, giving up 92 yards to the Green Wave. They'll try to get the ball back with 3:26 to go in the half. Tulane will keep it on the ground and get it up to the 24-yard line. Tough spot strategy-wise, I would think, Tyler, if you're Bob Toledo. Your team has played very tough, very well. They're in this game. You don't want to make a mistake right here. On the other hand, 3 minutes is a lot of time, especially for a quarterback which has had some success tonight.
Yeah, but the way that this offense has been performing all night, I don't believe you can put a leash on them and hold them back. You have to have them constantly thinking that they can play with this Alabama team.
Saw the numbers for Moore as on the carry. Andre Anderson. Rashad Johnson's helmet popped off, and about half of the 92,000 plus in attendance thought it was a football that had come loose.
Justin Woodall did a nice job coming up from the safety position. Don't know if he tripped, his knee gave way or what, but he just kind of fell down at the line of scrimmage.
The 11-yard pickup moves the chains for the Green Wave with 2:32 and ticking time left before the break. Play action, Moore with time. And he will have it deflected on a great play by Rolando McClain. He was trying to connect with Cody Sparks, was the quarterback Kevin Moore, but McClain stayed with it all the way to the boundary.
Lorenzo Washington thought he was going to have him, but Moore was just a little bit too quick. But here last year, you probably see McClain grab on the back of him in order to try to reach in front, but what a great job keeping the hands off and just at the last second sticking his arm up.
You'll see the speed of the Bama linebacker as well. 2nd and 10 now from their own 35. 2:12 on the clock before intermission. Jeremy Williams in motion. Moore will roll that direction. Looking up top. He's got a man, and it is caught. What a catch made by Chris Dunn, the redshirt junior. Got behind Rashad Johnson, the free safety. And Tyler, I don't know how he held on to this one.
Well, I don't think he did initially. I think he got fortunate here. It's a nice play action. Ball's a little bit underthrown as you saw Dunn come back for it. He catches it, drops it, and his legs are covered.
Literally a shoestring catch after it hit him between the numbers. What a throw, as that play covered 45 yards and puts Tulane at the Bama 20. Clock ticking under 2 minutes now. Direct snap going to Jeremy Williams. He'll try to get to the corner, but will be tripped down on a great play by Justin Woodall. He got him initially. And then Javier Arenas was there to finish him off, but it was Woodall who came up to make the play from strong safety. A pitcher in high school baseball that could throw it in the mid-90s. Thought about playing for Jim Wells' Crimson Tide baseball team last season, but realized, you know what, there's a great opportunity if I'll work and prepare to be the starter, and that's exactly what he's become at strong safety for the Crimson Tide. On 2nd and 10, Moore across the middle, and what a hit delivered by McClain. The catch is made, but only for a gain of 4. And the Green Wave will have to burn a timeout here with 57 seconds to go before the half.
McClain has no responsibility there in the middle. You see him just reading Moore's eyes, sees the slant come in, and delivers a nice lick.
8th tackle of the game already for Rolando McClain, sophomore from Decatur High School. Never put his arms around him. He didn't have to. He knocked him to the turf. Tulane nickel and diming Bama to death so far, but they did hit the deep ball earlier. You see that's an average of 4+ yards per play, but Alabama would love to have that type of total so far.
This offense has really helped their defense out as well, just from the standpoint of staying on the field as much as they have. Obviously, Tulane doesn't have quite the numbers Alabama does.
And that's exactly what the Tide did a week ago against Clemson. Keeping the football is the best defense you could possibly have. So from the Bama 16, 3rd and 6. Moore on the short drop, unloads it, 1st down inside the 10. Johnson on the hit of Brian King. And it'll be 1st and goal Tulane from there. Rashad Johnson's slow to get up. See him limping back to his position at free safety. There was pressure up the middle. Brandon Dedrick got in his face, but Moore with great poise able to fire that one in. Here's Terrence Cody back in, trying to clog up the middle for Alabama on 1st and goal from just outside the 7. Stretch handoff. Anderson fights off one tackler, lowers his shoulder. Ball is loose. Who's got it? I think the Green Wave pounced on it. Justin Woodall tried to come in late, but able to recover it for Tulane was Casey Rowbottom. So a timeout used. And the Green Wave will have it 2nd and goal from the 6. That was a heck of a stiff arm on the part of Andre Anderson initially, but trying to fight for additional yardage. He almost lost possession for the Green Wave.
Stiff arm's tough because it's going to prevent you from getting to his body. The only way that you can really get around it as a tackler is just to continue to drive your feet and run through it. Force him to the sideline. Eventually he'll have to break down that arm.
A tired Bama defense trying to bow its neck right here with just 27 seconds left to play in the 2nd quarter. And the Green Wave trailing Alabama at the moment 13-3. But they are knocking on the door. You see this drive already covering 73 yards, and they've done it in just 3 minutes. An impressive march down the field. It started with just 3.5 minutes to go before the break. With the Green Wave threatening to put more points on the board. They have been the more impressive team by and large in this half, but 2 special team scores have given Bama the lead. Play action, Moore overthrows the intended receiver. Well beyond the reach of Brian King, and it'll bring up 3rd down and goal.
Had to get rid of it quick. Brandon Dedrick for Alabama doing a great job coming up the middle of the field, applying pressure, forcing Moore to release it early.
Corey Reamer checks out, as does Terrence Cody. Chavis Williams will come in along with Marquise Johnson. Johnson had 5 tackles and an interception a week ago for Alabama. 3rd and goal from the 6. Anderson the lone setback. Moore on the straight drop. With time, he will throw this one out of the back of the end zone, and they'll have to try a field goal once again. So the Bama defense able to turn the Green Wave away with 16 seconds left to go in the half.
Kind of makes you wonder if Kevin Moore, last time he was over there on the sideline, if he was told, do not throw an interception, because both of these balls were thrown well out of everybody's reach.
So once more, we'll see Ross Thibodeau come on to try a 23-yard field goal attempt. He made one earlier, but we got a whistle before this one was snapped. Yeah, I believe Bama may have used a timeout here.
Be a 30-second timeout.
So the first timeout used by Alabama. They will have 2 remaining once they get possession. Nick Saban hoping that his special teams unit, which has already blocked a punt, could find a way to block a field goal as well.
You have to stay in some sort of safe defense as well, though, because you don't want to run the risk of Tulane running a fake of some sort and picking up, you know, a cheap 6.
If you're curious, Darren DeRochemont, their punter, is also the holder on these placements. It's not a quarterback, as a football got loose in the end zone. I think that one came back from the student section after the first kick was blown dead. Again, a 23-yard try from the hash. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. I don't believe anybody got a hand on it, Tyler. I think he just hooked it left. And the Bama defense turns Tulane away.
Best call timeout of the night. Took points off the board for Tulane. Pressure's going to come right up the middle. You'll see McClain staying back, and you're absolutely right. He just kicked it straight as an arrow. Snap was good. Hold was good.
Thankfully for Alabama, the kick was not, though. And with 11 seconds to play in the half, Bama will have it once again. And I think you'll see the Tide go to a knee and simply regroup as Mike McCoy will stand back at the 10-yard line. You see the Crimson Tide has not fared well offensively in the half, but thanks to 2 special teams touchdowns, the Tide goes to the locker room with a 13-3 lead. Tide head coach Nick Saban now joins Barry Krause.
Standing punt return for a touchdown, block punt for a touchdown. Great field position, but the offense just seems like it's struggling, not picking up the blitzes.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, we're really struggling on offense. We can't run the ball very effectively. We got 2 offensive linemen out. You know, Smitty's out, Marlon's out. We got a lot of guys playing in different places, but you know, the backs didn't pick up the blitz twice. You know, in the last series, we get great field position. We come away with no points. So we need to get settled down here on offense in the second half. Defensively, we gave up the 1 big play there. We're not playing badly. They're nickel diming us, but we just got to do better. We got to get some turnovers. We got to make some plays.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Barry. 12 rushes, no yards total offensively for the Crimson Tide. Despite that, it's a 10-point lead for Alabama. We'll have more from Bryant-Denny Stadium in just a moment as you watch Crimson Tide pay-per-view. Ten-point lead for 13th-ranked Alabama at the half over the Tulane Green Wave, playing their season opener. Week number 2, of course, for the Crimson Tide, although it's the first home game here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm Chris Stewart along with Tyler Watts, Barry Krause down on the sidelines. And as we take a look at the first half highlights, Tyler, dominated by Bama in the special teams, and Javier Arenas, who we spotlighted earlier, this 87-yard return, absolutely sensational.
You just can't overemphasize the importance of his individual effort this evening. He's done an outstanding job bouncing off blocks or bouncing off tackles and then continuing to run, picking up great yardage for Alabama.
It was also special teams that provided Bama's second score. The block punt by Roy Upchurch. Chris Rogers scoops it and takes it into the end zone. A 35-yard field goal off the foot of Ross Thibodeau. The only point production for the Green Wave. Their defense, though, as we talked about moments ago, in the face of John Parker Wilson the entire half. Corey Smith came in to kick after Lee Tiffin was injured, but Bama just not able to get anything going.
No, they hadn't. The pressure's been coming from the backside of John Parker Wilson, and as Coach Saban said, it's got to be picked up by the linemen and the running backs.
We'll see if that missed field goal at the end of the half is a momentum builder for the Crimson Tide, as you see the numbers heavily favoring the Green Wave, but the numbers that matter most are the ones on the scoreboard, and right now they favor the Crimson Tide 13-3 at the break. When you look at those numbers, time of possession, certainly a concern, but the lack of rushing ability for Alabama is certainly a big key.
Absolutely. Alabama has got to come back and be able to establish a run between the tackles. Off of that, the play-action pass will come. Then your opportunities downfield. But it's a mental game right now for Alabama. They got to get back to just working hard in the trenches.
Got to find a way to get something done on the offensive side of the ball. The defense hoping they can continue to perform at a high level for the Crimson Tide. When we come back, we'll start second half action. The third quarter comes your way next on Crimson Tide pay-per-view. Just about set to begin the third quarter of action here at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa as Alabama holds a 13-3 lead. Now again, you're frustrated on the Alabama side of things. I would imagine Bob Toledo, from a different standpoint, also frustrated. His team in its first game has played awfully tough. They've moved the football. They've done some things very well, but they still find themselves down 10 points.
Yeah, their schemes have been outstanding. The performance offensively has been really good, as well as defensively. Both of these units for Tulane have just played outstanding tonight and are keeping their football team in this game.
Good to see Lee Tiffin back out on the field with a helmet on. We saw him warming up, Tyler, during the half, during intermission. And again, he got his bell rung on a kickoff coverage situation earlier. Actually, after he had kicked off, I should say, he got belted out of nowhere. Clean hit, but one that took him out, and he had to leave the game, and Corey Smith certainly struggled in his absence. So Alabama trying to move to 2-0 on the year, currently with a 10-point lead, but Nick Saban looking for better execution. And again, it'll start, if it's going to happen, between the tackles, as it certainly was the case a week ago.
Well, and also starts in the huddle as well, with communication with each of the teammates, just challenging one another and making sure that they're all on the same page.
So the Tide will have John Parker Wilson back out at quarterback. And again, his first half numbers, only 5 of 14, but no interceptions, no turnovers. And I don't know if you can overstate the importance of the lack of turnovers for Alabama. Let's go down on the sidelines, check in with Barry Krause.
Hey guys, you know, one of the big challenges for this offense obviously is that when you lose an offensive lineman, one lineman, it's tough to come back. You know, you lose Andre Smith and then turn around and lose a second one. It's very difficult. They put Motley in there, and one of the challenges, as Tyler was talking about, is that, you know, if there's one team or group of guys has to be cohesive and communicate really well, it has to be the offensive line. And when you lose 2 offensive linemen, it causes a lot of chaos back there. Now, case in point, it's not just the offensive line. The running backs have to pick up that blitz as well. But overall, that is one of the challenges. It's going to be interesting to see how Nick Saban and this offense, Jim McElwain, make the adjustments at halftime and come out the second half and play a better game.
Thank you, Barry. You know, Tyler, you look at things, it didn't appear to be lack of effort. As you've said many times through the first 30 minutes of this game, miscommunication, lack of execution, but a big difference in that and lack of effort.
Not a whole lot you can do about lack of effort except pull a kid off the field. But communication is something you can talk about, make sure everybody's on the same page, redraw it up, make sure everyone understands it can be corrected.
Jeremy Williams is the deep man, and he will field this kick at the 8-yard line. And he will get across the 25 to the 28-yard line. And it was not Lee Tiffin who kicked off, and it was not Corey Smith. Instead, it was Heath Thomas who got a chance to kick for the first time for Alabama. Thomas, a junior out of Trinity High School in Montgomery, handled the kickoff duties there. So field position for the Green Wave at their own 26-yard line. The eyes set behind quarterback Kevin Moore. Andre Anderson dotted the eyes. You see Jeremy Williams go in motion on the toss sweep. Anderson to the boundary, and he'll be knocked out of bounds, but he had a lot of running room before he is bumped out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Rolando McClain, Brandon Faney, the linebackers, finally able to make the stop, and you see Anderson maybe cramping up a little bit. I know this is early in the third quarter, but it is the first game. It is a humid night, and you can tell the frustration on the part of Anderson right now.
Had a really good game tonight. Very awkward, though, that he's coming out in first play of the second half cramping up. This is spreading more than just his calves as well.
Again, you and I have talked about it. That's one of those that may start at your calf, but suddenly it feels like your ankle is over your right shoulder at that point. That's not a good feeling.
Yeah, they'll get him over on the sideline, though, stretch him out, get some fluids in him if they need to, get some more fluids in him in the locker room, and he should be able to come back.
But you're right. That's the type of cramp you ordinarily see maybe at the start of the fourth quarter, not at the start of the third. As you know, they were hydrated well during the half. But nonetheless, a lot of carries for a young man making his first collegiate start. That'll bring Nathan Austin in the ball game, I believe. On play action, that will be Austin, and he will fight through and make it all the way across the 40-yard line. 10 yards on that carry. And Tulane picking up where they left off in the second quarter.
See Blackwelder do a nice job leading through that hole, making a nice hole. Austin able to follow through, wraps up on that football, though, not going to give it up, not going to fumble.
Again, on those 10 yards, 6 of them came after contact. So the Green Wave with another first down. Play action again. Pressure coming. He'll unload it. Pass is caught, but Corey Reamer in coverage will come up with a stop shy of the 39-yard line. Bobby Greenwood applying pressure, forcing Moore to roll the pocket, and great coverage by Bama defensively.
Alabama does not bite on the play action this time. Moore wants to go to his left and is forced to come back, but Reamer does a great job of staying in coverage. One of the plays, Chris, where you catch it, you lose yardage. You don't catch it, you're back to the original line of scrimmage.
So 2nd and a dozen now, as we're more than 90 seconds now into quarter number 3, excuse me. Flag on the play, and it'll be a dead ball. There's that a lot of laundry on the turf.
Prior to the snap, false start, 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
First half, the Green Wave flagged just 2 times for 14 yards, and one of them a critical penalty on what wiped away a 51-yard kickoff return. You see Alabama's been flagged just once for 5 yards so far. So on 2nd and 18. When you are 6'5" and 365, hard to hide. Terrence Cody. And moved, and everybody in Tuscaloosa County knew it.
Dead ball, offsides, 62 defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Correction. Everybody in Tuscaloosa County felt it.
Well, you don't start and stop. You have to have a slowdown period.
Much like a freight train.
Trying to anticipate the snap of the ball, though, and really apply a rush. Once again, that's just a focus and concentration deal.
So 2nd and 12 now, as the line of scrimmage is up to the Green Wave 39. Moore again with plenty of time. He'll tuck it and try to make the most of it. Gets across the 42 to about the 43-yard line before the freshman linebacker from Lewisburg, Tennessee, Dante Hightower, makes the stop.
Really nice coverage that time in the Alabama secondary. It's the first time all night we've seen Kevin Moore have to pull it down and be forced to run with the football. And I think if Alabama can get Tulane in more situations like that and force Moore to use his legs, get some licks on him, I think it's going to be to their advantage.
Tulane 4 of 11 in the first half on 3rd down conversion attempts. Not sensational, but it makes Alabama's look fantastic. Well, compared to Bama's, I would say it looks fantastic. As on 3rd and 8, pass is over the head of the intended receiver, Brian King. Did that pass get deflected, or did it just look like a wounded duck coming over there?
I think it got there a little quicker than both King and Kareem Jackson thought it was going to. No contact. Little contact right there.
Boy, Jackson was more than a little concerned that there was going to be a flag that came in. Wasn't a lot of contact, but there was definitely some, as DeRochemont's punt will be fielded by Arenas inside the 20. As usually breaks the first tackle, the second, the third, and then he gets clocked. They finally were able to square up on him as Jordan Ellis, number 44, got the first solid lick on him, and Arenas goes down in a heap.
Had to have knocked the wind out of him.
We'll check on him when we come back, and we'll let you listen as we roll to a break. The crowd starting to chant Javi, Javi, as Javier Arenas still on the turf here at Bryant-Denny Stadium after he got clocked by Jordan Ellis. A clean hit from the Green Wave special teams, but watch it again after he breaks a tackle, and this is a time where even the best are in danger.
You saw the force of the hit right there. Did you see his neck whip? It's what you call a chin.
Well, Bama lost its best kicker in Lee Tiffin because of a devastating hit after he had kicked off. And now Javier Arenas, who has been Bama's most dangerous weapon offensively, an 87-yard punt return for a touchdown. As you see Nick Saban looking in, quite concerned. Alabama's athletic trainer Jeff Allen among those, and that's quite the show of sportsmanship from Jordan Ellis. You want the clean hit like he had, but if you're the guy delivering the blow, you do want to see that other guy get up. You want to make sure he's all right, but Arenas very woozy as he comes to his feet. Best medical care you'll find anywhere in the country for Alabama's players, but you can tell Javier Arenas may not be real sure where he is right now.
Here in body only.
So let's see how Bama can react. They have been punched in the mouth a couple of times, figuratively, if not literally, but they still lead by 10. The offense, which struggled mightily in the first half, gets its first chance here in the third quarter. Wilson with time to throw, in and out of the hands of Julio Jones, and he took a hit as he went across the middle, but that's one he'll tell you he should have had. Jones does not have a catch so far in the ball game. He had his hands on a pass in the first half on a deep throw, but that one was on the money, just not able to bring it in.
I don't think that anyone anticipated Tulane being able to apply this type of coverage in the secondary.
Josh Lumar, the big hit that knocked the ball away from Jones. Inside handoff, that's Ingram stretching to the 30. And now across the 30-yard line. Check that, it was Glenn Coffey, not Mark Ingram on the carry. As the Tide will be faced with third down once again. It was a 6-yard pickup, but 3rd and 4 upcoming. Bama has not had a lot of 3rd and short opportunities in this ball game so far.
No, they haven't. And Tulane on pretty much every 3rd and more than 5 or 6 yards, they have brought pressure. Be interesting to see what they do here.
So on 3rd and 4, Wilson will work from the gun. Walker among those in formation. They go to Coffey, and he slips down back at the 27-yard line. So the Tide offense goes 3 and out. And I don't know that that was going to provide much for Alabama, even if Coffey had been able to keep his feet.
Well, you like getting the ball to your running back in a one-on-one situation because he can make a move on a defender and normally elude at least one tackle.
So P.J. Fitzgerald, who's been a busy man tonight, 4 punts already, but a nice average. As Casey Rowbottom will stand back inside his 35, waiting on the kick. Nice high spiraling kick, and a fair catch called for and made back at the 27-yard line. So a good job by Fitzgerald, and Alabama in punt coverage as the Green Wave will start inside their own 30-yard line with exactly 10 minutes to play in the third quarter, and the Tide still holding a 10-point lead. 45 yards on the kick. And Fitzgerald keeping that average above 40 yards. I know last week on punts he averaged 36.5, but did a nice job on his 2 kicks. He has kicked for a better average in this game so far. Here's Kevin Moore once again working under center. Good half of football. Throws that one across the middle, and Rolando McClain sparing the life of Jeremy Williams there as the ball was dropped.
This is really good news for Alabama, also able now to apply pressure to more just a 3-step drop. Still able to get to him, though, so you're starting to see a little increase in the intensity at the line.
How do you shake things up, Tyler? Alabama has been sluggish at best in this ball game, really on both sides of the ball. How do you shake things up?
Defensively, all you can do is continue to play your game and try to make a big play at some point, a big turnover. Try to help your offense out.
I know ordinarily you might say, well, you call on special teams, but they've done their part. They have had a punt return covering 87 yards. They've blocked a punt. So they've given you those big plays. They did so early that normally a defense and an offense can feed off of, but they didn't do much to jumpstart things.
It's got to start, though, with the sideline chatter as well. Just a little intensity, offense and defense, not working against each other, but just, hey, come on, let's get something going. Try to light a little fire. You can't depend on the coaches for those type of things.
So 3rd and 7, Tide fans trying to do their part here at Bryant-Denny as they come to their feet on 3rd and long. Pressure coming, pass is caught, and stretching and getting the first down on a great play is Jeremy Williams. Boy, Moore was getting a ton of pressure from all directions, but Tyler, great courage to stand in the face of that rush and unload the football perfectly.
Tulane's going to motion right here, and that tips off to Moore that it is man coverage, so he knows where he's wanting to go with the football.
Brandon Dederick right up the middle, but Mark Barrett in coverage a step behind him, and the Green Wave pick up another first down. Play action. Moore looking deep. He's got a man, and that pass is going to be broken up. Marquise Johnson and Rashad Johnson who came over to help, but it was Marquise, number 24, that was with Brian King step for step.
Tulane got the play that they wanted right here. One-on-one coverage. Johnson having to come over from the middle of the field. But as you mentioned, Marquise Johnson doing an excellent job in coverage.
A little bit of contact, but King trying to play through it. Couldn't come up with a grab. And it's 2nd and 10. They'll go to Albert Williams on that carry. Corey Reamer making the stop along with a couple of other Bama teammates, and actually it was Nathan Austin who got that carry for the Green Wave. We have not seen Andre Anderson since he had to leave on the opening series of the 3rd quarter with what appear to be leg cramps. 5 of 13 on 3rd down attempts of the Green Wave so far in this one. 3rd and long again. Pressure coming. Pass incomplete. They went back to the same play, Tyler, that worked on 3rd down before, but this time the pressure coming from Eric Anders, and you may have seen Moore unload that one a bit too early.
He knew the pressure was coming, but Alabama still at that only brought 5. The 3-man front, they bring both McClain as well as Anders, and Anders able to sneak through there and apply the pressure.
All right, Javier Arenas leveled on his last punt return, has to stay out of the game, and Julio Jones comes in to replace him. So from 28 to number 8, here's Julio's first try. He'll break a tackle, a second, but finally he'll be stood up and brought down at the 15-yard line. And a late flag comes in, and this one may be against Alabama. It came in the vicinity of Eric Anders, who may have just made a mental mistake that Nick Saban absolutely despises. We'll wait on the call from our lead referee, Matt Austin. 43 yards on the punt from DeRochemont.
Following the play, dead ball, personal foul, 32 of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Frustration perhaps settling in for the Crimson Tide. We'll talk about that when we come back. Nick Saban looking for answers as his team has not looked great, but the scoreboard still favors Alabama here at home in the 3rd quarter. Crimson Tide of Alabama, along with Tyler Watson, Barry Krause, Chris Stewart with you here on Crimson Tide pay-per-view. All of Alabama's points coming in the first half. In fact, the first quarter, the Tide got an 87-yard punt return from Javier Arenas for a score. Then they later would block a punt. Roy Upchurch doing that. Scooped up by Chris Rogers for a touchdown. You see Alabama's offense, for lack of a better word, in the first half, and what has happened since that point. Tide, Tyler, averaging less than 1 yard on first down, and that is a stat that sticks out like a sore thumb.
It's one that definitely hurts. You say, well, why don't they just get back and line up in I formation and run right off tackle? I think that's the problem, though, is the fact that there's miscommunication on the offensive line, and then whenever you get real basic, defenses can do multiple things to you. So Alabama may come back once they get a little breathing room and really try to spread the field out.
They'll have to start inside their own 10. Worst starting field position of the night for Alabama. Let's see if this type of adversity can jumpstart things. They'll bring everybody in tight. And Wilson will hand it off right up the middle. A gain of 3 yards. Reggie Scott delivers the hit off the carry by Glenn Coffey. Jim McElwain, the offensive coordinator, able to push every button correctly, it seemed a week ago, and that's the frustration of this game. Talk about the game of football, Tyler, as you come back the next week and nothing seems to work. On second down and 8. Wilson on the toss. Coffey looking for running room, and he is upended. The football comes loose, and Bama recovers it, I believe. Now there's a mad scramble. And after it came loose the second time, we'll see who will come out with it. Good luck sorting this one out. A lot of unmentionable things occurring at the bottom of that pile. Including Tulane coming out with it. And Tyler, Tulane has been the more physical football team here tonight.
They definitely have since the first quarter, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've really taken the fight to Alabama. Alabama gets basic once again. Tulane just really, it's a great run by Coffey, just great hit. Helmet on the football, that's what you teach. And tackling drills, looked like Nikita Stover was going to be able to come up with it.
I think it was Reggie Scott that knocked the football loose. It was either Scott or Josh Lumar, the corner, that jarred it loose. And the Green Wave take over just outside the Bama 30, and the defense called on again. Moore with all day to throw. He'll unload it, and what a hit from Corey Reamer after the catch was made by Austin. Called Reamer's name quite often tonight.
Alabama defense taking this as a challenge. Backed up once again after the turnover. They've decided that it's time to make a play themselves.
Alabama turning the football over for the first time this season. It came with roughly 7 minutes to go in this third quarter of the second week of the year. And now the defense trying to stop the Green Wave. That pass across the middle complete. Jeremy Williams finding a little seam about 5 or 6 yards past the line of scrimmage, something he's done pretty successfully most of the night. Justin Woodall with a hit there.
The Alabama middle is really soft right now as a result of all the linebackers really sticking their nose up in the line of scrimmage and trying to apply pressure on Kevin Moore. That's putting Alabama secondary in a lot of one-on-one situations. And Tulane's running a lot of pick routes, trying to take advantage of rubbing one defender on another.
Third and a short 2 for Tulane. Blackwelder in at fullback. Austin dots the I. Moore going with a long count. He'll give it to Blackwelder. There's nowhere to go. Reamer got him low, and then Lorenzo Washington hit him high, and Alabama forces fourth down.
That's great penetration by Lorenzo Washington. Reamer getting up in the hole as well, not hesitating, finding the hole and attacking it.
So now the Green Wave trying a field goal for the third time tonight. Ross Thibodeau 1 for 2 so far. This one will be 41 yards. Tulane late running a player out in kick protection. Snap and hold are good. The kick is up. It's wide left. He hooked another one. Thibodeau 0 for 2. And Alabama's defense turning away the Green Wave once more. It has not been a thing of beauty, but Alabama's still fighting and still leading by 10. Bama Bama fans looking for something to cheer about. Yes, they lead by 10, but the offense has not been able to muster very much at all. The defense has stepped things up, Tyler, and done a great job of bowing their necks, if you will, and turning Tulane away on more than one occasion here in the third quarter.
Absolutely, and they're trying to do everything that they can to generate a little bit of energy on this Alabama sideline, and they're doing all that they can do.
We're talking during the break. You're on a different side of things now, so we love the media timeouts. However, as a former quarterback,
hate them. Absolutely hate them. You get in a little rhythm. You're trying to get into a rhythm. A lot of energy in this stadium here just 5 minutes ago after the missed kick. The offense is wanting to get out on the field and try to take advantage of some of that energy, maybe feeling it a little bit, then a TV timeout comes, and you got to calm back down.
We'll call it a media timeout. We'll blame it on radio as well. We'll take full blame for it. John Parker Wilson trying to get something going for the offense, which has been stagnant all night long. Mark Ingram will check in, dotting the I behind Barron Huber, the fullback. Travis McCall shifting. Now to the top of your picture. Tall sweep to Ingram. A yard at the most. At what point do you go from, well, the offense is struggling to, man, is Tulane playing great defense?
I think we might be there because there's nothing extravagant about what Tulane is doing right now. They're just lining up in a 4-3 front. They're just attacking the line of scrimmage. They're recognizing the play. They're taking on the blocks. They're shedding the blocks, getting and making the tackles. No more arm tackling for Tulane.
Huber has to check out as he hobbles off the field. 4 wideouts as Wilson works from the gun on 2nd and 11. They lost one on the play. Across the middle, pass is caught. Marquise Mays looking for running room, and he will lose yardage. Trying to make the big play, Tyler, turn what was a nice gain into only an average pickup.
Nice square in. An offensive line does a great job picking up the twist. Catches it at about the 33-yard line. As you mentioned, you can never go backwards, though.
It turns out to be a gain of only 5. It was an 8-yard reception when he made the grab, but he lost 3 yards trying to turn it into a home run play. But Mays with his 2nd catch of the night on 3rd and long. Wilson unloads it. Coffey with some room. And Ingram, getting to the 34-yard line, and that's going to be close to the first down. Only the 6th first down of the night for the Crimson Tide as Ingram makes the play.
Pressure comes at John Parker Wilson. He knows where his safety valve is. Linebackers for Tulane don't get out there on Ingram. This is a situation you want, though, Chris. One-on-one situation. Your tailback with the ball in his hand going north and south.
1st and 10, Bama. Haven't said that very often tonight. Inside give, and it will be Ingram. He fights his way across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. Logan Kelly making a stop for the Green Wave. Under 3 minutes to go here in the third. If you're just joining us, Bama getting 2 touchdowns in the first quarter from its punt return team. A punt return of 87 yards by Javier Arenas. A punt blocked by Roy Upchurch, and scooped and taking it into the end zone was Chris Rogers. Bama missed the 2nd PAT try. That's all the offense Bama has produced so far. But now, back-to-back first downs by the Crimson Tide for the first time perhaps all night long, Tyler.
He has got some powerful legs. Right up the middle. Watch his eyes. He's always looking for the cuts, takes on initial contact, continues to drive those legs, keeps that momentum going forward, fighting for extra yardage, and the crowd loves it.
Low center of gravity for the 5'10", 215-pound true freshman out of Flint, Michigan, who had 17 carries for 96 yards a week ago. They'll give it to him again, going with a hot hand, and he'll get to the 42-yard line. And Alabama now starting to pick up some positive yardage on first down, which had not occurred up until this point.
Averaging right around 1 yard per carry on first down. really puts you in a bind on what calls you make on 2nd and 3rd.
Wilson keeping it himself. He's got the first down and more as he will fight for yardage across the 35 down to the 31. Known more for his passing, but this tough young man has good wheels and is not afraid to run the football.
It makes you wonder if he read the defensive end really collapsing and just decided to pull it, because we have not seen that play.
McCoy and Jones to the near side. Stover and Mays to the top of your picture. Wilson across the middle, one hops. Julio Jones, and it was John Parker Wilson who got nailed by Travis Burks. Look at the hit number 14 takes here.
The route is open, but as you mentioned, Travis Burks coming in basically untouched right in John Parker's face. It's tough to step into it when you know you're about to get hit that hard.
I am extremely impressed with Tulane's defense. They have hit Alabama about as hard as anybody we've seen over the last couple of years. The Green Wave very confused defensively, trying to make a late substitution. They have to burn a timeout. So Bama's offense has had more than its share of confusing moments. This time it's Tulane on the defensive side that has questions. And so they have to burn a timeout here. And I think that Wilson's probably glad to have a few extra seconds now, Tyler.
I think he wants to come over the sideline, make sure that they got everything in order. Talk over, talk over just what they're going to do next. Maybe go over one more time the alignments of the defenses and what they can expect.
What a different ball game for him. And talk about the quarterback's thought process now with a minute to go in the 3rd quarter as opposed to a week ago. It's a big game, national television, all the hype, the season opener last week, and you play flawless football as a squad. Now here you are in a dogfight at home in a game that most people expected you to walk away with.
Yeah, and you're just anticipating at any moment that Tulane just rolls over and dies. When you know, Tulane's coming to this game, they're on cloud 9. They're excited to play right now. They're in this for the long haul.
Lee Tiffin is loosening up on the sidelines. So if Bama tries a field goal, we may see number 99. But the Tide's thinking, let's keep the ball moving and keep the chains moving as Ingram picks up 3 yards on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and long.
You got to be careful with the football right here. The passing attack has been open. The routes have been open. They've worked the middle of the field really nice, the hook routes. It's just whether or not they can buy enough time.
So Coffey staying in the game after that 2nd down carry. Bama has to get across the 21 to pick up the 1st. 3rd and 7. Wilson with time, throwing, passes juggled, and is it caught? Yes, it is. A flag comes in. They'll call pass interference, but it will likely be waved off. What a catch by number 4, Marquise Mays.
Absolutely amazing how he was able to focus on that ball.
Some discussion going on.
Ruling on the field is a completed catch. Pass interference, 21 defense. The penalties decline. Play results in the 1st down.
We'll watch the grab by Mays once again.
Offensive line, outstanding job picking up the pressure. Charles Harris, though, for Tulane, great coverage, just too good. But what concentration right there.
Harris is 6'3", 176. Mays is only 5'9", 167. But you saw the strength and the great concentration as Ingram checks in. He'll get the delayed carry. He'll get inside the 10. He'll get to the end zone for an Alabama touchdown. 15 yards as Mark Ingram follows the blocking of Julio Jones and the left side of the offensive line. And Alabama has its first offensive touchdown of the night.
Great job there by the left side of your line. You saw Ross pull around, apply a nice block, arm tackling. Ingram's able to run right through it with those strong legs.
And great to see Lee Tiffin on to try the extra point from the hold of Fitzgerald. The kick is up. It's good, and Alabama leads it now 20-3. What a way to end the third quarter. The 15-yard touchdown run by Mark Ingram, and Alabama now leads it by 17. Mark Ingram, the freshman from Flint, Michigan, his first touchdown in an Alabama uniform. 15 yards, and helping Alabama extend its lead now to 20-3 as we move to the fourth quarter. You see the drive, Tyler, 11 plays, 77 yards. Prior to that drive, only 8 rushing yards for the Crimson Tide, but now Nick Saban's squad getting 62 of those 77 on the ground.
Kind of spread it out there, gave a lot of different formations to the Tulane defense, but more than anything, the play of the offensive line was much better communication, trading off blocks, and really just getting after it.
Montgomery native Heath Thomas now will kick off for the second time. If you're just now joining us, Lee Tiffin handled the kicking early, as he always does, but he was belted running downfield after kicking off following Bama's first touchdown. And until that extra point, Tiffin had not returned to play, but Heath Thomas, the third kicker actually the night for Alabama, as Corey Smith had struggled on his kickoff, PAT, and field goal attempts since initially replacing Tiffin. Williams and Burks, the deep men, as the kick by Thomas will be fielded inside the 15. Running room across the 25 as Burks turned it upfield for the Green Wave. And that's where the Greenies will start off. Tyler, it's now on the shoulders of this Tulane offense, which has had some success moving the ball. They've got to put points on the board as we're now into the fourth quarter.
They have to, but I believe their job just got that much more difficult, not only from the mental standpoint of knowing that they have to score, but also from the standpoint, this Alabama defense is really excited right now. They're trying to make good plays. They've seen some productivity out of their offense. They're wanting to get the ball back to them.
1st and 10. And on the delay give, there is nowhere to go. Rolando McClain planning the Tulane ball carrier by the line of scrimmage. So a loss on the play, and you're seeing the defense, which frankly Tyler has played better since the third quarter got started, really step things up.
Yeah, they really have. The defensive line is doing a great job of not allowing the offensive linemen on the linebackers. Recognition right there. It's a pretty big hole that he has had to step up and fill, but does an outstanding job.
First time we have seen Andre Anderson back in the game since he had to exit on the first play of the third quarter due to leg cramps. Moore will roll the pocket. Pressure coming from the backside. He'll go deep. He's got a man, and it is off the hands of Jeremy Williams. That's a great diving attempt. Brandon Fanny applied the pressure and the hit to quarterback Kevin Moore, and he is very slow to get up.
Nice play action this time by Moore. You see Fanny just continue to fight right there, coming in from the backside. Not bad coverage. I don't think Moore originally had wanted to throw it to Williams, but was forced to just because of the breakdown in coverage.
So we've got a stoppage in play because of a clock malfunction. 14:54 is the time on the clock, but no time ran off following that last play. And in fact, Tyler, it should go back to the first snap of the series because we didn't have any time go off.
Kickoff took 6 seconds.
Right, but then after that, we didn't see the clock start again, and of course, first down was a running play. That loss on the play by the Green Wave, and so now they'll go back and check things. Strictly a guess, but I'm going to venture that it's somewhere around 14 minutes and 20 seconds, perhaps, give or take 5 or 10. And Alabama's defense now starting to make some plays.
At this time, both the game clock clock and the play clock are inoperable. Both times will be kept on the field.
Just what you need for the Tulane and Alabama offenses. Adding to the degree of difficulty, no clock available. As you heard our lead official, Matt Austin, say the scoreboard clock.
There's currently 14:36 on the game clock. 14:36.
So we'll do our best to keep you updated as we can.
I believe Tulane's going to benefit from this more than Alabama. 14:36. Hard to imagine that they were able to run a running play, get back and huddle up, call another one, run it, and only 20 seconds come off the clock.
So now third down. With about 12 yards needed for the first. They need to get across the 36 in order to pick up the first down. Moore from the gun. Flags come in, and this play will be whistled dead.
It's a bad penalty, too, if you're Alabama. Give them a free 5 yards. Of course, you're going to see a lot of pointing saying I was drawn off, but
Prior to the snap, false start. Correction, offside. 98 defense. 98 enter the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Nick Saban demands excellence from everyone. His players. He'd also like it for the men in stripes. Thought they had it backed up 5 more yards. Instead, you've got 3rd and 8. And also, as they tried to sort things out with the clock, it bought Kevin Moore a few more seconds to clear the cobwebs after he got decked. Bama shows blitz, and they come with it. Pass is caught. Yes. First down, Tulane. As on the receiving end was Michael Batiste, the 6'3 senior for the Green Wave.
offensive line doing a nice job once again picking up the Alabama blitz. The coverage is good. It's right there. It's just a perfectly timed football. He has been sharp. He has not hesitated, and that's what has allowed him to have this success.
First and 10 from the 38. Stretch handoff, Anderson, and he gets a couple of yards before Kareem Jackson knocking him out of bounds along with Brandon Fanning. Moore's numbers a little bit deceiving. 18 of 33 may not sound sensational. 136 yards, but he has done a nice job of leading this offense over the course of the night. So he's now 19 of 34 after his last completion. But I know you've been impressed with what he's been able to do.
I just don't know how many more of those passes you could legitimately go back and watch on film and say they should have been completed. He should have gotten it up or really put it in the wide receiver's hands.
2nd and 7. Moore with plenty of time across the middle. Pass is caught. Cody Sparks, the tight end, able to make the catch, and that will move the chains once again. Hightower and McClain, two inside linebackers, combining on the stop.
Kevin Moore is a pocket quarterback. He's not one they're ever going to try to move out and roll out, get him out of the pocket there. And Alabama knows that, but this offensive line for Tulane has really done a nice job of picking up the stunts, picking up the blitzes and the pressure, and allowing Moore to buy a little time and find some time to find those receivers downfield.
Ball right at midfield. With 13 minutes to go, that's the time now on the clock as they fix things apparently. Pass is caught, but ridden out of bounds once more was Cody Sparks. Second grab for him. Brandon Fanning, Dante Hightower in coverage there. When you trail by 17 in the fourth quarter, can you afford to do it in these small chunks like Tulane's trying to do right now?
I really think what Tulane's doing right now, I don't think they're aware of the clock at all. I think they're just sensing offensively we're making a lot of yardage, we're doing things right, we're doing things good, and they're just trying to stay in that rhythm.
Moore with plenty of time. Now unloads it deep. That one is going to be broken up. Incomplete. The guy who had the best chance was Kareem Jackson. But suddenly the Green Wave became the defenders, as they're going to call Josh Chapman for roughing the passer.
Automatic first down.
Have to look at that one again, Tyler. I know you hated these type shots if you were a quarterback, but is it that late, and does it warrant a flag?
Not in my opinion. I see things a little different too, though, because it graduated from here. But from the standpoint of you just can't put a red jersey on the quarterback. He's still got to be a part of the game. It's a contact game. There's nothing wrong with that little push or shove, little drama going on, in my opinion.
So the flag on Josh Chapman moves the chains again for Clemson, for Tulane, as the pass across the middle is caught. Breaking a tackle, Justin Kessler, and he is inside the 5-yard line. Down to the 4, Marquise Johnson was in coverage. Rashad Johnson able to make the stop.
Down the middle of the field, wide open, just finds the seam there between Woodall and Johnson. Marquise Johnson doing a nice job of hustling, though, not giving up on the play. Otherwise, Kessler walks in for a touchdown.
26 yards on that completion. And a green wave now inside the 5 as we near the 12-minute mark of the 4th. Moore looking for the back of the end zone and throws it away. Good decision there. Tulane will have 2nd and goal now from the 4th.
Moore has been very impressive, though. Nose down here in the red zone, not to take a sack, not to throw an interception or a turnover. He's taken very good care of the football tonight.
Anderson, the lone setback. Moore looking, had a man, and it is dropped. Just a shade too high for Brian King, as that one falls incomplete.
Great offensive call this time by Tulane. Just expecting the linebackers and everybody to think you're going to run the hitch within 5 to 6 yards. You put a little juke move on them, and the back of the end zone is wide open.
Tulane 6 of 16 on 3rd down conversions. Is this 2-down territory right here?
It's got to be at some point if you're planning on trying to win this game.
Moore rolling the pocket, looking, throwing, broken up and almost intercepted by Justin Woodall. He was trying to go to the back of the end zone with it, but Woodall stepped in the passing lane and almost got the pick.
Robotin goes to the flat, immediately he's not open, so he starts to try to work the back of the end zone. And as you mentioned, Moore had him, but Woodall doing a great job of coming underneath.
21-yard field goal try off the foot of Ross Thibodeau. His kick is up, and it is good, and he's 2 for 4 now on the night. The Bama defense forces Tulane to try another field goal. This time they convert. We've still got a ball game with 11:46 to play here in the 4th. Tulane capping an 11-play, 70-yard drive that covered 3 minutes and 13 seconds with a 21-yard field goal off the foot of Ross Thibodeau. That's the junior who just brought Tulane to within 2 touchdowns.
2 big penalties that time on the part of the Alabama defense also with the going into the neutral zone. Alabama had a 3rd and long situation. Tulane just picks it up by about 3 or 4 yards, and then obviously the late hit on the quarterback.
Something to remember as well on that 11-play drive. Not only is Javier Arenas out, the top kickoff and punt return man, and by the way, just set an Alabama single game record for punt returns. And he did it in just a half. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. People forget that's your starting cornerback as well. He's become a tremendous defensive player in addition to what he's doing in special teams.
Now, Marquise Johnson has been able to come in and do a very nice job playing that corner position. But as you mentioned, Arenas is the starter. He's the one that has earned this spot on the defensive side. But Johnson has come in and done a nice job.
So with Arenas out, Mike McCoy is now joined by Mark Ingram. He had a 15-yard touchdown run earlier, made it 20-3 at the time, but now he's in position to return a kick for the first time. He'll field this one at the goal line. Ingram across the 10, 15. He's at the 20. And he will spit off the tackler at the 25 and get up to the 27-yard line. So Ingram with a nice return there, covering exactly 27 yards, and that's where Alabama will start 1st and 10.
Alabama just wants to continue to build off of that last drive. Look for a lot of shotgun formation. They had a lot of success running out of the shotgun on the last series.
I mentioned Arenas finished the half with 141 punt return yards on 4 returns, setting an Alabama single game record. The old mark 122 set by Harry Gilmer against Georgia back in 1947. Ingram will stay in the game in the backfield. Wilson will go to the air. He's got Julio Jones, and the catch is made up near the 39-yard line. That's Jones' first catch of the night. They haven't gone to it, Tyler, in quite a while, but despite double coverage most of the evening, Alabama finally able to get the ball into the hands of number 8.
B.J. Scott does a nice job of pulling the linebackers on the inside slant, allows all that room for Javier Arenas on the outside, and he has very soft coverage against Charles Harris.
It's Julio Jones actually making that grab as they'll go to Ingram on to the leg give. There's a flag on the play and not much running room for Ingram either. Jones is going to check out. He'll be replaced by Darius Hanks. Waiting on the word from Matt Austin and his crew. We've got 11 minutes and 11 seconds left to play. And now, I almost said Tyler Watts pleading his case, but John Parker Wilson now wearing number 14, pleading his case.
Years, yeah.
Illegal formation on the offense. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Let's head down to the field. Barry Krause, what have you got for us?
Yeah, I was just going to update you on Javier Arenas. They worked on him again over on the table over there with all the trainers. Unfortunately, you know, he doesn't have his helmet, and what I've heard is basically he's not coming back the second half or actually the fourth quarter. So Javier Arenas, I think he's seen the end to tonight.
Thank you, Barry. And what a tough blow for Alabama, and you hate that for Javier individually, as now Ingram will get the carry, and he gets across the 40. They'll spot him near the 42. It'll be second down from there. Corey Saunier, the strong safety, finally able to bring him in. Alabama starting to establish things, though, in the running game. They did it at the end of the third quarter, Tyler, and now in their first series here in the fourth, able to run the ball between the tackles.
Yeah, they've been doing it out of the shotgun formation, but what that's really done is allowed a little bit cleaner look up front for the offensive lineman, but really and truly, it's just the grit of this offensive line.
White swings it out to Mays. Marquise Mays trying to get to the corner, but after picking up 4, maybe 5 yards, he'll be brought down. I'm still trying to put you in the game at quarterback, aren't I?
I'm loving it. But wait for a touchdown pass, though. Wait for a touchdown pass.
You're trying to get your stats added to. Wilson. It says 2 things. Number 1, I'm old. I remember your playing days. Number 2, we're hanging around each other way too much these days, too. Wilson at quarterback, faced with a 3rd down and 7. That's Nick Walker shifting into the backfield. Wilson throwing, pass broken up. That's a nice play by the Green Waves. Philip Davis, the cornerback, able to reach around and get a hand on that one, breaking up what would have been a first down grab had Mays been able to hang on to it.
Nick Walker stays in the backfield. They're able to pick up the pressure, but as you mentioned, Davis just doing an outstanding job breaking on the football to bust it up the play.
Can't play it any better. Didn't make contact at all with Mays. Just got a hand in there, broke it up. And now Casey Rowbottom will drop deep at the 15, waiting on the punt from P.J. Fitzgerald. It's off another nice high spiraling kick that will be fielded across the 20. Rowbottom gets it across the 30, and they'll spot him right there. So the Green Wave very much in the football game, trailing by 14, but with a lot of time left here in Tuscaloosa. 14-point lead for Alabama, but Tulane will have it when play resumes in the fourth quarter. I'm Chris Stewart along with Tyler Watts, Barry Krause down on the sidelines. Glad you're with us on Crimson Tide pay-per-view, and remind you we'll have next week's game against Western Kentucky also available by pay-per-view as well. Contact your local cable or dish provider as Alabama plays host to the Hilltoppers. Tide fans glad to be ahead, but Nick Saban not happy, Tyler, with how tough things have been. Everything has been a struggle, and it's not just a case of Tulane playing poorly, because they have played very well at times, but Alabama has really struggled to build a lot of momentum tonight.
Yeah, but it hasn't been on turnovers or anything like that, or giving up huge plays defensively. It's just they're a little flat. They're flat, and they're going to learn from this.
9.5 to go, and Kevin Moore, first collegiate start for the Green Wave, and not a bad performance at all, but his team has only put 6 points on the board. They need more, trailing by 2 scores. He'll unload this one, and wisely throws it out of bounds. Terrence Cody bearing down on him, but he waited as long as he could and then wisely airmailed it to stop the clock.
Smart job by throwing it out of bounds, but once again Alabama's able to put Moore on his rear end. Anytime as a quarterback you're having to pick yourself up off the ground, it makes that the next throw that much more challenging.
Pass complete across the middle. That's Cody Blackwelder again, able to reel it in. Take a look at it again. They have found the soft spot of the Bama defense right up the middle all night.
Coming here with a little fullback angle route. Looks like he's going to go to the flat where Tulane has had a lot of success, and at the last second just pivots, cuts back inside, middle of the field. They're clearing out with a tight end. It's a nice call by Tulane.
3rd and short. Bama defense has stopped Tulane good bit in this situation tonight. Let's see if they can do it again. Moore hands it off. Little misdirection and a first down as they went to Jeremy Williams. That is a great call by Dan Dodd, the offensive coordinator. First time we have seen that. I thought initially, Tyler, it was a busted play.
It did look like it. It looked like all the action was coming to the left of your screen there, but as you can see, you got pulling guards. Everybody's coming back around. Great call there on 3rd and short.
Brandon Fanny, the Jack linebacker, who was trying to cut him off, but too much speed from Williams, able to get to the corner and pick up the first down. Under 8 minutes left here in the fourth. Anderson bouncing it outside and knocked out of bounds as he picks up a yard on the play. Rolando McClain there for the stop once again. So the Green Wave still in this ball game. They've got a lot of work to do with under 8 minutes to go, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Corey Reamer will check out. Mark Barron will come in to replace him. Highly touted freshman out of St. Paul's High School in Mobile. Here you see number 4. On 2nd and long, pass complete, and what a tackle made in the open field there. Kareem Jackson able to hang on. Tyler, if he doesn't pick it up, it's at least a first down. Probably a huge gainer instead.
Very difficult pass route in order to defend right here, and Kareem Jackson does an outstanding job with the open field tackle. There's wide receivers going everywhere. Everyone's crossing 5-6 yards around, clearing out linebackers. Alabama does a great job of staying in their zone coverages and an outstanding open field tackle.
Second catch of the night for Batiste, but only picked up a couple. 3rd and long with 6:48 to play. Pocket rolls, pass is caught and very close to the first down, but I think he's about a yard shy, and obviously 2 down territory as Batiste made the grab, but it'll bring up 4th and about a yard. No question, down by 2 touchdowns, that the Green Wave have to go for it. But I think they are going to use a timeout and try and talk things over. Can't afford to make a mistake here. Perhaps their last good chance to close in on the Tide. Bama still leading it by 14. Along with Tyler Watson, Barry Krause, Chris Stewart back with you at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. Home opener for the Crimson Tide after a sterling performance a week ago at the Georgia Dome, giving the Tide a high national ranking at number 13. Bama struggling tonight. Barry Krause down on the sidelines. What have you got for us?
Just talking about the defensive backs. I think they picked it up a little bit. If you see a lot of the passes or the completions that Tulane's doing right now are all checkdowns. The backs are kind of delaying in the backfield. That's because defensive backs are doing a better job. Man-to-man coverage downfield, staying a little bit closer, making him look to the, the second or actually the third receiver, which happens to be the check down. So overall, defensive backs for Alabama picking it up a little bit and putting pressure on that quarterback.
Alabama trying to continue that pressure, Tyler, as they are set for a 4th and a yard right here. What do? That's a long yard.
Hadn't seen Tulane just try to line up against Alabama and run it right at them, so look for some sort of misdirection play.
They do try to run it at the Tide. They get stood up by Hightower, but not until the Green Wave pick up the first down. Dante Hightower stood up Austin, but he was at the 45 when he made contact, and that was just enough to move the chains. Give the Green Wave credit. They have to wait a week in order to start the season. That's tough enough when you play your first game a week after everybody else. But not only that, they have to spend an entire week in Birmingham in preparation because they had to evacuate New Orleans due to Hurricane Gustav. It was almost like a bowl week, but they're ready to see somebody other than teammates, and they have come out and fought Alabama in this one. But the Tide has also taken the fight to the Green Wave as McClain makes another hit for Alabama. Last week, Tyler, McClain only had 3 tackles. He had 3, I believe, before the anthem was over in this one.
I don't think he got an opportunity last week because the defensive line were making all the tackles. But we talked earlier, how do you tackle against the stiff arm? That's exactly how you do it. You keep your legs driving. You force the runner to continue to go to the sideline, run him out of bounds, or eventually his arm's going to come down.
2nd and 13, we'll call it, from the 48 of Alabama. More on play action. Chapman giving pressure. He'll throw, and the pass is caught for the first down. Brian King able to shake away from Kareem Jackson. And I said that it was Josh Chapman. Actually, it was Brandon Dedrick, the defensive end, who was chasing Kevin Moore. But what poise this young man shows.
He's worked the pocket well. He hadn't gotten out of the pocket, but he's stepping up right there, keeps his eyes downfield. Corey Reamer delivering a lick on him. As you mentioned, Brian King doing an outstanding job on the deep pattern.
So 5:10 and ticking, time left as the Green Wave continue to trail but continue to march. Pressure coming, and Reamer gets to him. Corey Reamer with a sack. Back at the 37-yard line, the Hoover native with a sack resulting in an 8-yard loss.
He's standing up on the line of scrimmage, able just to twist around, delivers a nice lick. This looked like it hurt.
Flashbacks. 7th tackle of the night for Reamer.
Well, you see a lot of guys that get an open, a clear shot at the quarterback, try to go for the kill shot, go for his head, but he does the smart thing right there, just make sure that he gets the tackle.
2nd tackle for loss this year. They set up the screen, and they got some running room, but Kareem Jackson able to stay with it until help could arrive, and Anderson's knocked out of bounds. What a job on the part of the sophomore cornerback, Kareem Jackson, out of Fort Union, Virginia. 5'11", 185, and he was able to contain that play.
Does a nice job of staying out all the trash, all the linemen that are downfield, and just kind of floating back. He knows he has a lot of ground that he can give up and make the tackle and still be behind the original line of scrimmage.
That is a tired Bama defense. They have spent the majority of the night on the field. Moore now 27 of 46, 219 yards, faced with 3rd and long. They'll dump it off, and it's incomplete. McClain with a hit after the fact as Anderson, I believe, heard big number 25 in pursuit.
Knocked his shoe off. Would have been well short of the first down, but as Barry Krause was talking on the sideline, Moore's having to come down to his check down receivers because this Tide secondary is doing a great job.
So 4th and a dozen. The Green Wave trailing by 14 with 3:47 to go with no choice but to go for it. Got to get all the way to the 19 for a first down. Pressure coming. Moore throws it up for grabs. Who wants it? Deflected and dropped. Oh, near disaster for Alabama as Chris Dunn had the deflection in his hands, and Tyler, I think he has a touchdown if he reels it in.
Just about could. Pressure comes right up the middle. Chris Moore knows he has to get rid of it. You got 3 Alabama defenders converging on it.
Ali Sharif providing the pressure, forced Moore to throw it up for grabs. And after a scare, Bama comes away with it. And Tyler Watts, Chris Stewart with you here on Crimson Tide pay-per-view and CSS. It has been far from a thing of beauty. Yet Alabama, pretty gritty, 14-point lead right now, and manufacturing ways put points on the board. The offense has only done it once. Special teams in the first half, giving Alabama a little bit of a cushion.
You know, good football teams, though, are going to brother-in-law one another, so to speak, just like you do in golf. Offense isn't performing quite as well as we've grown accustomed to. Defense and special teams step it up and provide points.
So Nick Saban's squad, barring a meltdown with under 4 minutes to go, will move to 2-0 on the year, with Western Kentucky due up next week. Ingram, who's gotten the bulk of the carries tonight, gets another one there. And he'll get up near the 34, just across it actually, for a gain of 3 yards on the play. Precious time ticking away for the Green Wave, and Alabama in no rush whatsoever to get to the line of scrimmage. Still 18 on the play clock. And 3:05 and moving, time left on the game clock. Ingram stood up at the line of scrimmage. Another big hit delivered by the Green Wave. I'll tell you one thing, they have sent notice to Conference USA that they will hit you when they line up. Evan Lee has had his name called many times tonight from that middle linebacker spot.
Filled the hole very nicely right there, but very impressed with Mark Ingram. Hard collision there, made sure he had 2 hands on the football, not going to turn it over.
3rd down and 5. Where Alabama has not been too spectacular tonight. 3rd down situations. Ingram on the straight give, and he's going to be close to the first down, Tyler. Bama not taking any chances right there with under 2 minutes to go now. Run the football. If it's enough to move the chains, great. If not, they're going to punt it away and try to count on their defense once again.
I like the call, though, running right up the middle once again. Your best offensive lineman, Antoine Caldwell, leading the way, pushing the pile. Coach Polito says it's 4th down.
Apparently it is, so they're going to bring the chains over. Cleveland will do that. Again, Alabama next week will be at home against Western Kentucky. That game also available on Crimson Tide pay-per-view. And Alabama will be about a foot shy of the first down. For the Green Wave, they'll go home to play East Carolina. The Pirates off to an impressive start to the year as well. That should be a good matchup at the Superdome next week. We mentioned Western Kentucky next week before the Tide opens up conference play at Arkansas and then again on the road at Georgia. Kentucky off to a good start as well. Same thing for Ole Miss. And then the Tide will travel to Tennessee. There's an off week between the Kentucky and Ole Miss games. Arkansas State is the homecoming opponent. Bama will wrap up the season at LSU. Mississippi State an off week and then at home against the Auburn Tigers. Saban not worried about next week just yet. He is worried about right now in this final minute, 55 seconds. Tyler, it was not a great performance tonight by Alabama. And again, Tulane still with time, but while Alabama was not great, they did not commit any fatal mistakes, or at least they haven't so far, that would make this an even scarier game. Ball loose, flag on the play. I think they're going to get a block for that, but that is something that Alabama unfortunately did on more than one occasion last year. The back-breaking mistake that either kept you out of a game or handed a win to the opposition.
Yeah, they always say that more games are lost than actually won, and Alabama has not played good at all here this evening, but they have not done anything to lose this football game.
During the kick, block in the back, 21 of the receiving team. That's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Now, Chris, you hadn't seen the turnovers going into the end zone in the red zone. You haven't seen them coming out, creating a short yardage situation for the opposing offense. So, flat, it's something you hate to see in your players. You always want them ready to play, poised to play, because you only get 12 opportunities a year. But coming off a big win, as a fan, I can understand it. As a coach, you absolutely despise it, but you know that it happens to every football team.
Nick Saban's Crimson Tide has unfortunately had the defense on the field for an awful lot of the ball game tonight. Time of possession, 34, almost 35 minutes for Tulane, while the Crimson Tide has had it for under 24 minutes this evening. A tired defense is out there. They continue to battle, but the Green Wave continue to fight also. And a change in quarterback, Joe Kemp, a freshman, getting some snaps. They're keeping the ball on the ground, and this looks like the white flag from the Green Wave. A loss, but a lot to build on for Bob Toledo and his staff.
And I think that's exactly what he's looking at as the rest of this season. He saw a pretty good performance out of his football team. He knows he can take care of his players. He can carry that on throughout the rest of the year.
Talking with sports information staff as this carry picks up a first down for the Green Wave. They said, the best thing about tonight is regardless of what happens, we get to go home. They've been here all week, as we said, having to leave campus last Saturday to avoid Hurricane Gustav, and they stayed in Birmingham. They worked out each day at Samford University, and then had a very long day to try to do something other than football, keep their minds fresh, and they were hungry to play tonight. They didn't get enough done on offense in terms of point production to win, but they fought awfully hard and gave Bama quite a challenge this evening. Pass from Kemp, complete across the middle. That's Troy Wainwright, the tight end, making the grab. McClain with another tackle for Alabama. And again, a lot of stuff that Alabama needs to work on before Western Kentucky comes to town, but at least they're talking about things to work on after a victory.
Absolutely. And these, the offensive line play wasn't what we would have wanted it to be, but now they have something to build on. They have film to watch and to learn from.
Alabama had a lot of bodies there, but it took the fourth or fifth guy to finally get the ball carrier down, as that will be the final play of the game, and the Tide picks up its second win of the year. 20-6 your final score. The Crimson Tide a winner tonight against the Green Wave. Nick Saban far from ecstatic, but a win is indeed a win as Bob Toledo loses to Alabama for the first time as a head coach. John Parker Wilson and the Crimson Tide will go to work on Monday correcting numerous mistakes, but also preparing for Western Kentucky. And that'll wrap things up from here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The senior executive producer for CSS is Steve Thomas. The senior coordinating producer is Russ Aarons. Today's game was produced and directed by Anthony Early. For more information on CSS, including programming info, your team's favorite schedule, and how you can become the CSS Ultimate Fan, log on to css-sports.com. And now for Tyler Watson, Barry Krause, and our entire CSS and Crimson Tide pay-per-view crew, I'm Chris Stewart saying so long from the Capstone.